Wow, we spent the past 2 weeks working on some stuff. It seems kind of unnecessary to do like a huge ruse, but I think it'll become kind of obvious as we go through this why it was necessary. But if you're here for the Jordan Peterson stuff, I'm sorry. You have been part of an epic ruse. Yeah, I'm going to read this down. Probably been advised 50-50 on people I've talked to, where half of them have said this is absolutely not worth it and you're committing career suicide, and the other half have said this is great stuff, you should publish it. So yeah, here we go. I went with the title Keffals, a case study on internet terrorism and mass media manipulation. The sourcing for this was Pretty AIDS. There's a lot of clips, there's a lot of links. I don't know which ones I'm going to be clicking and which ones I won't be. I guess I'll kind of play it by ear as I go along, because Jesus Christ. For the last 6 years, progressives and conservatives have waged vicious war with one another across cyberspace. With cultural, political, and advertiser pressure bearing down on these social media platforms, conservatives have slowly found themselves on the losing end of the digital battlefield in the ongoing culture war. As the role flips from oppressee to oppressor, progressives have sometimes found themselves embracing many of the same styles of aggression conservatives once engaged in. This is going to be a cataloging the past year, demonstration of what happens when communities fail to hold their own members responsible, and what comes of the belief that there are no bad tactics, only bad targets. This is going to be a careful documentation of lies, scams, threats, bullying, doxing, and an utter lack of accountability. Over the years, I've worried about the types of tactics endorsed by progressive communities, the uncomfortable distorting of narratives, the grotesque shape-shifting of facts, the general inability to hold themselves to a decent standard of behavioral conduct. I've been worried that the right combination of identity politics combined with a holy mandate from members of the media may empower deplorable actors to become the new representatives of our movements, with no one left to put the brakes on their treachery. The prevailing narrative circling Kiwifarms and Keffals is wrong. It is not the story of a downtrodden trans activist supported by righteous members of the media battling against an evil empire of militant Nazis and transphobes. Rather, it is the tale of an internet bully given far too much power on a mission to seek fame and fortune by building a career through vicious conflict, born out of lies and disinformation. We've allowed ourselves to gaze into the abyss for far too long. Keffals is the result. In this exposition, I'm looking to upend the prevailing media narrative through establishing a clear record of truth with regard to these key points. Keffals' initial rise to fame was through internet bullying and lies, not through righteous activism. There is not enough evidence to support the claim that Kiwifarms has bullied anyone to suicide. Kiwifarms was likely not even the main culprit behind most of Keffals' harassment. Keffals grossly misrepresented the events justifying her GoFundMe. And the do-it-yourself HRT directory, which had Keffals' full social and monetary support, engages in grossly irresponsible behavior with minors. The ascension of Clara Sorrenti. Clara Sorrenti, better known online as Keffals, is a Twitch TV streamer and avid Twitter user. She's known a bit for her trans activism and a lot for her aggressive brigading against social and political targets on Twitter. After a short stint in real-life politics, Sorrenti began her online career in March of 2020 on Twitch TV to just a handful of viewers, streaming games such as Raft, Valheim, and Fallout New Vegas. A wave of anti-trans legislation sweeping through the United States inspired her to switch her streaming content over to focus on politics, with her eventually raising over $200,000 for the campaign for Southern Equality to protect trans youth. She now regularly streams to over 1,000 concurrent viewers. Sorrenti made a name for herself on social media by directing her Twitch TV chat to brigade targets, sometimes even on her alternate accounts to get past blocks, by ratioing them on Twitter. I don't know if I need to click like every link to prove this. I'll publish this afterwards, so you guys can always dig through later if you want. Ratioing is when a Twitter user interacts with another user's tweets, either through a direct comment or a quote tweet, surpasses the original tweet in likes and engagement. Sorrenti's Twitter behavior typically involves her streaming her interactions with conservative or anti-trans individuals on Twitter, encouraging her audience to engage in bullying or harassment against whoever she set her sights on, sometimes even asking other larger creators for assistance. On March 22nd, she'd set her sights on Ian Miles Chong, an active anti-SJW famous from before the days of Gamergate. For hours, Sorrenti would go back and forth with Ian on Twitter while coordinating the brigading of her Twitch stream, At approximately 8:50 p.m. UTC, her Twitch stream would get hate raided or brigaded by a group of malicious chatters after she spent most of her stream fighting with transphobes on Twitter. A moderator of Keffals, Sulio, a Twitch user who has urged other streamers to cut ties with me in the past, would eventually blame my community for this. How ironic. This is something the amount of like stupid shit I never wanted to know in terms of stuff I've been reading about every night over the last few weeks. The funny thing is that the source of all of this conflict, the source of everything starting between me and Keffals, started because Sulio was the one in chat who was the one who actually
You figured out why we were hate raided earlier? What happened?
It was Sulio was the first one that pointed it out. What the fuck are the chances? Their evidence? Seeing me quote tweet a friend of Sorrenti's on Twitter at 10:56 p.m. UTC over 2 hours after the raid. Give context for those who don't know him. It's a whole video.
Oh my God.
This is a guy who, I guess if you didn't know him, there was another streamer that I used to talk to called Hutch. And this is a guy that, play the clip of him crying. This guy literally called in Hutch and was like crying because he didn't want Hutch to talk to me because he just felt so bad listening to his talk.
A pretty loyal viewer. Like, I'm around pretty much every stream. And he just you're just like, well, too bad. Just like, really, dude? Like,
so
not only that, and like Katie just told me that like you just kind of told her like at one point like you just told her just kind of the same thing and just like too bad. And it's like, Hutch, come on now. Like these are viewers of yours, and you're just saying too bad.
I usually tell people it's that guy, a moderator of Keffals. Crazy how it all goes back to the same communities, huh? Their evidence? Seeing me quote tweet a friend of Sorrenti's on Twitter at 10:56 UTC over 2 hours after the raid of which I was accused of causing. After noticing my quote tweet, Sorrenti quote tweeted my tweet at 11:17 p.m. UTC in an attempt to get my account reported and banned. She's a big fan of this. Quote tweet somebody, mass report them. Hi Twitter support, this is Omnidesk, uses the account blah blah blah, ban evasion, blah blah blah. She always does this. But the only evidence Sorrenti would ever provide for the claim that my community hate raided her was that she shut down the raiders by auto-banning anyone who followed my channel. I was, at the time, the second largest political streamer on Twitch, with over 650,000 followers. Should be no surprise that auto-banning all of my followers would slow down any new raiders, as the same effect would likely been achieved if she'd banned all Hassan or Vosh followers, the first and third largest political streamers on the platform at the time. Furthermore, it is not the case that every person following me on a platform where I have hundreds of thousands of followers is a fan of mine. If I were to have directed a hate raid, it would have certainly far exceeded the handful of chatters who showed up to harass her.
They put the bot for the to catch all the DGGers at 11:50. All right, so at 11:50, that's when the bot started. They didn't end the first hate raid with the bot. All right, because that happened at 8. This is where they put the bot, because you can go and you can cross-reference when she's on Twitter where she talks about this, right? So she says on Twitter, we just put a bot that bans anyone that follows Destiny and our hate raid ended. So there was another hate raid around here. The clips say that, right? But this one, the only hate raid that you can see, not DGG. Destiny didn't even know that Keffals was doing this whole stream, like fucking with him and saying that he was harassing her until midnight. You can look at you can watch his VOD and you can scrub through the entire thing like we did at the beginning of stream. You were in her chat at the time? Yeah, I don't doubt that she was hate raided, right? I don't have any doubt in my mind that she was hate raided. It's just that there is no way for them to link DGG to this. That's the crux of the whole thing, right? The problem that I have with Demon Mama, assuming I still have... No, this is the... Yeah, look, this is the... You can see Destiny... This is Destiny for the first time reacting to Keffals, okay? Wait. This is at, like, midnight.
Hold on, Keffals said you stealth someone? What? Have I watched this before?
Insane. Oh yeah, meanwhile he stealths people, which is legitimately a form of rape.
Okay, so he sees this. He leaves the room for like 2 minutes.
Oh yeah, meanwhile he stealths.
By the way, before you start saying like, that's when he decided to like get the hate raid going. This was after both of the hate raids, and Melina had been calling him. So he like went to help his wife. All right.
People, which is legitimately a form of rape.
Sorrenti would later claim in that same stream that I don't stand for trans people because I support segregation between trans women and cis women in college sports. Ostensibly, this single issue is enough to erase the numerous supportive debates and conversations I've had on my stream regarding trans issues. On March 23rd, the next day, my Twitch account would be indefinitely suspended for hate speech due to my stance on trans women competing in women's sports, with Sorrenti later taking credit for my suspension on Twitter. My ban would propel her into the spotlight, netting her almost 30,000 Twitter followers over the next week, making it the single most explosive month of growth her account has ever experienced on the platform, doubling her following. Sorrenti's primary strategy when dealing with people online is to attack, attack, attack. Her goal is to discredit them as much as possible, using half-truths or lies in order to mischaracterize their views into something unacceptable or associate them with unscrupulous actors. I don't know if I want to go through like every time it was kind of hard to strike a balance of like, do I list every time she's been an asshole or lied, and then every time there's like a correction? I guess I can read these. I don't know if I'll go over all the evidence for some of these, but on March 23rd, she claimed I stealthed people, which is legitimately a form of rape.
Oh yeah, meanwhile he stealths people, which is legitimately a form of rape. Insane. Insane shit.
I've never stealthed or raped anyone. This is obviously baseless and malicious. This is an obviously baseless and malicious accusation stated with no evidence. She softly walks us back later, only after somebody in chat points it out. On March 24th, she claimed if a trans woman does not disclose she's trans before having sex with someone, they are a rapist. I have never stated that a trans person failing to disclose their trans identity before having sex with someone makes them a rapist.
He said that if a trans woman does not disclose she's trans before having sex with someone, they are a rapist. I have done this. According to him, I'm a rapist. But he'll never take that back, nor will his like weird fans expect him to take that back. So, why am I expected to apologize for anything? I don't care.
This claim is in reference to tweets I made saying you should not surprise someone with a set of genitals they are not expecting. During that discourse, I explicitly made a carve-out for people who were post-op, so her framing of my take was a complete and total lie. March 24th, she claimed that I was literally defending a neo-Nazi who called her a man. I have never retweeted, liked, nor endorsed any transphobic attacks against her, or against anybody. All forms of transphobia are banned from my chat room and my Discord. I disavowed her original tweet, Lauren's original tweet, and my subreddit was critical of her as well. Pretty sure my whole subreddit was shitting on Lauren for this. Pretty sure I mentioned multiple times in the same stream. Show evidence, it will blow their mind. Do I really want to go through every single link? If I do that, it's going to take there's a lot of links in this document. I don't know if I want to go through every single... Literally defending a neo-Nazi right now who called me a man and calling me mentally ill at the same time. I think I've got 3 different YouTube. What's your take on Lauren's deleted tweet? It's stupid. She shouldn't have tweeted it. But hey, it's not like she's my dog or something. Stupid. Shouldn't have tweeted it. What's this? Go now. I mean, I don't think that it's like... I don't think that would be good to be like transphobic against people that you don't like, right? Like, wouldn't be good to be transphobic against people you don't like. Honestly, that problem tweet was omni-based. Lauren's tweet? No, Lauren's tweet was not based. It was just kind of shitty. Destiny. Lauren's tweet was not based. It was kind of shitty. And this is my subreddit. Keffals is insufferable and behaves in every way that screams insecure and childish, but they are just that, a kid with bad tapes. Lauren being openly transphobic like this shows that she has some deeply held beliefs. This is the most upvoted comment on here, 647, not even close. On March 24th, she claimed I was showing support for Kiwifarms when my chat actively attempts to dox her. All forms of transphobia are banned from my chat room and my Discord. YouTube chat is a bit harder to moderate due to limited moderation tools, but anyone making threats or comments like these are instantly banned by moderators. On March 30th, she claimed I mocked her for being a childhood grooming victim. I've never mocked her for being a childhood grooming victim. I was mocking her for constantly bending stories and narratives to suit whatever she was currently fighting about online. On May 17th, she claimed I let my audience mock her genitals. I don't even know what proof I was supposed to provide here. I have never retweeted, liked, nor endorsed any transphobic attacks against her. All forms of transphobia are banned from my chat room and Discord. On July 18th, she claimed I was directing people to Kiwifarms to harass her with a deceptively cut screenshot. It's so funny how she reads these. Like, you can tell she does like no, I don't even know if she like goes over any of this stuff. I think she just lets other people gather links for her and she throws them in a doc and hopes that they're good. If you've ever gone through any of these docs she's posted me, they're horrible. So
here is Destiny posting my Kiwifarms thread that includes my dead name. So it's like, not only did Destiny post my Kiwifarms thread in chat, he's posting my dead name in chat. The reason why he posted this is because the person above Pintle, right? He tried to post it and he got timed out. So Destiny himself posted.
So this person tried to post a Kiwifarms link, but it was a few days later. Look at the dates. This was in July. My post was in June. And this crop shows that Kiwifarms is a banned link in my chat. Also, she doesn't show why I posted this link. Interestingly enough, we're going to run into a lot of this. I have never directed people to Kiwifarms to harass her. I've linked to the site a single time in my offline chat on July 1st to demonstrate that the harassment she was receiving was coming from Kiwifarms and not my community as she'd claimed. These were the messages that I posted in chat. She has zero evidence and she has over 400 pages of thread on her on Kiwifarms. This is the link. It is 1,000,000% obvious the harassment is coming from there. If she wants to blame my community, go for it, but she's actually fucking schizophrenic if she even thinks 1% is coming from us, aside from maybe reporting shit. And then these are 2 times where I think she's claimed like the majority of the harassment is coming from Destiny's community.
Oh yeah, no, the chat's a nightmare because Destiny decided to fucking brigade me on the day that I got banned from Twitter. So this is just a thing that we have to deal with today. But it's fine. Think you could use a vacation for the relentless harassment? There's literally no avoiding it. Like, you see it happens on Twitter, it happens on Twitch. Mostly from Destiny and Destiny's community. But other places as well, conservatives, Nazis, fascists. I don't know, they all sort of like amalgamate together. Genderqueers are basically in the same orbit.
So the only reason why I made that post in my subreddit was to fight back against, this idea that it was coming from my community, which was super not true. Even in the screenshot she shows, Kiwifarms.net is clearly a banned phrase in my chat. On August 21st, she claimed I actively lurk on her Kiwifarms thread and blames me for getting doxxed and swatted.
Destiny actively lurks on my Kiwifarms thread? Like, okay, hold on a second. I said I wouldn't bring it up, but like, I need to show you all something. Just like, here's the reason why I don't really engage with him. So like, the reason that I have a Kiwifarms thread in the first place is because I got into a fight with Destiny and they started posting about me in his Kiwifarms thread. And the moment that that started happening, he started talking on his stream about me being brought up in his Kiwifarms thread. He's posted the thread link in his chat multiple times, encouraging his viewers to get involved. He has actively facilitated all of the bad things that have happened to me over the last several months. He had a point, you know? He could have put aside petty shit and he could have saved me from having an assault rifle pointed at my face. But he's a sociopath. You shouldn't get involved with him whatsoever or take anything he has to say seriously. And he has no future past streaming, so once he retires, he'll be completely irrelevant.
I have never made a post in that thread. Most of the information I receive comes secondhand through Discord and Twitter, and I have not posted that link in my chat multiple times, nor have I ever encouraged my viewers to get involved. Notice she will never post proof of either of these things. On August 25th, she claimed, "I am the reason that Kiwifarms found out about her. I am a victim of Kiwifarms harassment and have been for 5 years. It is inconceivable that I could be held responsible for other threads created on Kiwifarms that I had no hand in creating." Originally, on August 21st, Keffals seemed to have a completely different idea about who started the feud with Kiwifarms, or about what started the feud with Kiwifarms. What the fuck? And said it was because she started doing Twitter ratios, and that's why Kiwifarms is digging up every little thing in the last 28 years of her life.
How did the Kiwifarm stuff even start? They noticed me because I started doing Twitter ratios. And they went from getting mad about Twitter ratios to digging up every single thing in the last 28 years of my life, looking for more reasons to be mad at me.
Is this the same
How
clip?
did the Kiwi...
I think it's the same one. On September 12th, she claimed that I am best friends with white nationalist extremists using a photoshopped picture of me and Nick Fuentes as evidence. I have never been best friends with white nationalist extremists. This picture is, ironically, an edit done by a Groiper, a Nick Fuentes fan. The picture that she ended up tweeting out for me being best friends with white nationalist extremists, this one is photoshopped. It was photoshopped on a Groiper channel. Photoshopped to make it look like my face is warmer and I'm laughing at him. You can see Mel's hand still in the background here where it's photoshopped. So ironic that she's literally spreading Groiper propaganda in an attempt to slander me. I have aggressively debated Fuentes on almost every interaction we have had. Here are 16 debates. I think they might all be recent, or some might be within the past year or two, but like, yeah, I mean, we've debated a ton. On September 12th, she also claimed that I threatened to rape women and post burning crucifixes in the replies of black people, in reference to tweets I'd made in 2016. Here is Omni Destiny admitting who he is on his ban evasion account, the Omni Liberal. I hope Twitter Support finally enforces policies. He's threatened to rape women and posted burning crucifixes in the replies of black people. He is a dangerous person. I have never threatened to rape anyone. I made an incredibly inappropriate tweet, which is obviously inappropriate. This old Twitter account was wild. Kill yourself, you fucking cunt. I hope you get raped with a fucking shovel until you bleed out of your fucking vag and die. Jesus. I made an incredibly inappropriate tweet towards someone 7 years ago during a heated exchange, but it was not a rape threat. I've since apologized for it and recognized it was not an appropriate tweet to make. The burning crucifix image, this tweet, was posted once, and it was during a period where I was fighting with black nationalists who were trivializing historical and contemporary racism on Twitter. While it is unnecessarily edgy and obviously an inappropriate tweet, it was not done with racist intent, which is clear, as I was in the comments arguing about the disadvantages black Americans face in the United States. I think there was a huge time period here where, for whatever reason, I was fighting with black nationalists, and some of them were tweeting out that, like, oh, well, being black is always awesome or whatever. And I don't remember even, it's been a long time. This is like a 5 or 6 year old argument. But I mean, it's pretty obvious what I'm talking about. You can say that the tweet is edgy, but higher incarceration rates, lower job callbacks on the same applications, worse access to schooling, redlining, gentrification, et cetera, et cetera. This is, yeah, probably an unnecessarily, needlessly edgy way to do it, but I'm not just like spamming burning crucifixes to people in their fucking Twitter. Sorrenti has made every effort to inhibit me from covering anything related to her. She continuously attempts to discredit me by making false claims about my reporting or repeatedly claiming that I'm associated with Kiwifarms or its owner, Joshua Moon. On July 18th, she claimed that Noel has my back while reading what is obviously a troll post on my Kiwifarms account. She tweeted a similar claim on July 19th.
But, you know, I'm not really that surprised, considering that Destiny himself is a Kiwifarms user. Here's Destiny's verified Kiwifarms account, 78 messages, joined May 2nd, 2018. And here's some other interesting things.
Notice my reaction score is negative 875. Explain what that means. It's like Reddit karma, basically.
Here is from Destiny's thread, him saying, I've known Null for like 6 years, dipshit. We used to play twos in StarCraft 2. He'll have my back 100%. He's one of the most well-connected guys here.
So Null hates me. We'll get more into that later. And obviously,
so not only
I'm trolling Null and the people in this thread. Obviously, I don't fucking mean this.
So not only is Destiny saying he's known Null for a total of 8 years now, he's saying that Null has his back. $10 But, you know, I'm not really that surprised.
Here's Destiny on his verified Kiwifarms account saying he's known the person who runs the site for 10 years and played StarCraft 2 with him. Here's another user getting mad at him for stealing content from my thread from Twitter, and linking my Kiwifarms thread with dead name on stream. Oh, she keeps posting the same dumb evidence over and over and over again. Joshua Knoll has stated he's made a lot of statements about me.
And this is while he's out, I guess, fucking around with trannies and shit. And it's just like, he's super gross.
Oh, I'll give a trigger warning, I guess, even though I don't really necessarily believe in them. But there is a lot of transphobia probably throughout this doc when it comes to other people's statements, because a lot of the people on Kiwifarms are pretty fucking transphobic. Go figure. But anyway, yeah. Just as a heads up, you're going to hear a lot of that probably throughout this.
And this is while he's out, I guess, fucking around with trannies and shit. And it's just like, he's super gross. And sometimes he says things which are funny or agreeable. And it's like, I wish I could like you, bro, but you're creepy and gross and weird. And your brain's all fucked up and your shit's all retarded and you talk like a faggot. So we can't be friends. And I kind of think the world would be better off with you dead. I think that about a lot of people, but...
He stated the world would be better off with me dead.
Man.
But Mr. Girl, Max Carson, did a movie review about how the show was about challenging sexuality and how he was sexually attracted to all the 12-year-old girls in it. But that's the point of the movie, is to challenge your perceptions. And this caused a lot of outrage because it was a gross, indecent statement, obviously. And then it caused him to have like this spiral where he was making videos like rapping about how he wants to fuck kids and shit. And he's like, haha, it's all satire. I'm just like a crazy dude. And I say wild things like Eminem did. And then he ends up on Destiny streams, and Destiny's like grooming this guy to be his fucking protege, which is why I will not talk to Destiny, because he's fucking gross.
He said he will not talk to me. Andy said, I hope Destiny gets set on fire. Andy showed up in my Kiwifarms thread to call me a cuck. On August 18th, Sorrenti would later admit that she blatantly lied about this claim on Twitter. Also note that while I've posted on Kiwifarms, my reaction score is negative 875, which should give you a pretty good idea of what Kiwifarms generally thinks about me. Negative 877. What's this? Why is it taking a while to load? Here we go. Hey, I do need to point out something you got wrong in this stream. Destiny's offhand comment that he was friends with Null back in his StarCraft days was a joke. Null's online history is extremely well documented, and if that were true, it would have come up at some point. I know. I wanted him to respond to the accusation. It was bait. On August 21st, she claimed that I have actively facilitated all of the bad things that have happened to her over the past several months and blamed me for her doxing. There is no proof or evidence of any of this. I cannot possibly be blamed for Kiwifarms creating a thread on her when I had no involvement in it. Again, the only time I posted her thread in my chat was to counter the allegations that most of the harassment she received came from my community by proving the existence of a Kiwifarms thread on her. On August 27th, she claimed that I was considering bankrolling Kiwifarms and that I have been known to mock trans people who have attempted suicide and called for another mass reporting to get my Twitter account banned. We can use this moment to send a message about the consequence of financially supporting Joshua Moon and his efforts to keep Kiwifarms online. People should feel scared to stick their neck out for murderers like Joshua Moon. If this site stays online, another trans person will be murdered by Joshua Moon and the users of his forum. If we can get Destiny's account clapped, there will be a chilling effect on people who are willing to show public support for Josh and his legion of sociopaths. Man, she really likes to spam report my shit. Oh God. Why is the archive site? It's being slow. I think this is a better link, but earlier that day, I had cautiously expressed an interest in potentially donating to Kiwifarms. I think this is me talking about it a little quicker. The forum is down, Kiwifarms, because upstream ISPs have black hole routes to our network. When a computer tries to connect to our servers, the global network has no way to reach them. This is a deliberate action from our host. They're not answering my emails, and I do not know why this has been done. However, prior to going down, you're being targeted by a DDoS attack and other forms of attempted network intrusion. It is likely that these efforts disrupted the entire ISP and forced into a black hole network.
What's up, Destiny? You can watch the roast video tape posted today on Hassan KSI and Ethan on Rumble.
Maybe. In an ideal situation, they'll restore access eventually on their own. I'm working on securing the network from DDoS attacks in the meantime. Other service providers are working on a solution which may restore access in the next few days. Regardless of what happens, I will decentralize our setup across multiple data centers. In the near future, there will be no single point of failure. Since I acquired my own network, I've been stubborn and complacent in thinking that such a solution would be permanent. I've been aware of the single point of failure, but decided to ignore it, mostly because decentralization would be expensive. How much do you think the monthly cost for Kiwifarms are? I thought about actually doing I thought about donating, but there's like so much to consider for that. Obviously, I have a thread on Kiwifarms, and I've been the target of a lot of harassment from the site, which is annoying. But the idea that a site could exist that somebody doesn't like and they find a way to basically shut it down is really frightening to me. That's pretty spooky. Probably 1 to 10K depending on how it's implemented. I feel like there's no way the server costs for this site are 10K a month. I feel like it's got to be in the mid 4-figure range. But obviously there's a lot of weird optics in terms of like, I don't think Cloudflare dropped Kiwifarms. No, it doesn't sound like, I don't think Cloudflare would drop Kiwifarms. Kiwifarms have some unhinged general stalkers involved in their community. The amount of information these guys got on individuals would be too much to argue for. Well, the thing is technically doxing isn't illegal. Now, immoral, probably. But yeah, I don't know, I'm not sure. Keffals already tried to link you to helping Kiwifarms and that fell flat. If you actually done to them, that's a different story. Sure, but like, what if somehow in the future we get wrapped up in something and then they come after like my site next, right? I imagine there's actually, I don't know who has more supporters, Kiwifarms or me. I don't know how big, I guess, in totality, all the people. This is like the full context of that. I'm not gonna watch through every single thing, but like obviously you can see that like the idea of like I don't like this website, so because I think I wasn't just like, oh, I want to bankroll Kiwifarms because I hate trans people. Oh, this was her tweet about this, I think. A YouTuber called Destiny is considering bankrolling Kiwifarms. Destiny's been off Twitch earlier this year for discrimination against transgender people and has been known to mock trans people who have attempted suicide. He streams with white nationalist leader Nick Fuentes. On March 26th, the day after my thread started, Destiny mentions that Kiwifarms hates trans people and laughed that I would see real transphobia as a result of my thread. I have been doxxed, swatted, had my accounts hacked, and my family has been threatened. Just a bunch of like random shit. The only trans person whose suicide attempt I've ever questioned is Doe, someone who claimed they'd taken a non-lethal dose of Benadryl in a published Google Doc before jumping back into Twitter politics a week later. This questioning had absolutely nothing to do with them being trans. I have never made transphobic attacks against Doe, unless you count me not willing to use its pronouns as being transphobic, which in that case, maybe I am transphobic, okay? On September 12th, Keffals pressured Brianna Wu out of having a conversation with me, saying that she didn't want me to make money off a monetized video debating Brianna. Oh shit, I should have linked the tweet here, but I offered to donate $1,000 to a trans charity if Brianna discussed Sorrenti's claims with me. She still refused. This was her jumping to her computer to tweet at Brianna because Brianna was considering having a convo with me. Brianna, don't debate him. He's a loser who has no outside influence has no influence outside of a legion of 14-year-old boys. He doesn't matter and no one cares about him. I don't want him to make money off a monetized video debating you. On September 14th, she claimed that my subreddit is the new Kiwifarms and Kiwifarms when Kiwifarms is offline.
The new Kiwifarms is so cringe. I was looking for this thread that got posted on r/Destiny. It was like a Keffals groomer mega thread. Because r/Destiny is basically Kiwifarms when Kiwifarms is offline. Which makes sense considering Destiny is a Kiwifarms user.
I have one of the largest creator subreddits on Reddit. If the level of harassment from my subreddit was even a fraction of what comes from Kiwifarms, my subreddit would surely be banned. All of the behavior that Sorrenti calls out that Kiwifarms is notorious for, threats, extreme harassment, and doxing, are explicitly banned in all of my communities. On September 14th, she claimed that I was a Kiwifarms user and she thinks some kind of Nazi really seems like it. She's also said that I'm very upset that my site is gone. I'm just playing these because I'm showing you how desperate she is to like link me to Kiwifarms.
Who is Destiny? I looked for him on Twitch and can't find him. Is he some kind of streamer? I don't know much about him. I know he's a Kiwifarms user and he seems to be really close to Nick Fuentes and Lauren Southern. I think he's some kind of Nazi. Really seems like it. I would stay away from him. People accuse me of insane shit. Like, Destiny, in a recent video that he did, accused me of saying that I told my followers to bomb a data center in Ukraine. well, I was in the middle of an email campaign and I posted the information for a publicly traded company based in Ukraine. I posted the information. I said, do your thing in the middle of an email campaign. Just absolutely unhinged behavior towards me all the time.
I don't know what in the middle of an email campaign has to do with anything.
By Kiwifarm users. He's obviously just very upset that his site is gone. People accuse me of insane.
My reaction score, like Reddit karma, on Kiwifarms is below negative 850. Getting negative reputation at this level is considered somewhat difficult without getting banned and is usually only reserved for lol cows with accounts on the website. For reference, Near, someone who claimed to have committed suicide due to bullying from Kiwifarms, had an account as well. I have only ever posted in my own thread, like Near. I have never interacted with any other thread on Kiwifarms. My full post history is here. You're welcome to go and look through it. The allegation that I'm some kind of Nazi is patently absurd, and obviously so to anyone that has even a passing familiarity with my online presence. In regards to the bombing claim, it wasn't just addressed to her followers at large, but specifically her Ukrainian followers. Boom. When she says she posted the information, this includes the physical address of the data center. Interestingly, she also neglects to mention how she stated that I know Joshua Moon has expressed warm sentiments to Vladimir Putin and the site has many Putin supporters on it. At best, she takes advantage of a brutal invasion and humanitarian crisis for her own ends, and at worst, she engages in an implicit call to violence. So, if I have any Ukrainian followers, here's the phone number and address for where Kiwifarms is currently hosted. Do your thing. The site is down, but I know Joshua Moon has expressed warm sentiments to Vladimir Putin, and the site has many Putin supporters on it. I think the Ukraine has, it's supposed to be Ukraine. I think Ukraine has more important matters currently. More important matters than dealing with platforms that have pro-Russian propaganda on them during wartime. The only funny thing is you are terminally online and don't understand how the real world works. Watching one of the old voices from Gamergate fly into a soy rage about me because he doesn't understand that countries do not like it when war propaganda that benefits who they are at war with is broadcasted during wartime is so funny. I'd say a little bit kind of strange here. If we're going to hold people accountable for implicit threats to violence, I think posting the address is probably unnecessary, but okay. She claimed on September 15th that I had previously shared her docs and was threatening to do the same to her family. I have never posted direct links to her docs, nor have I ever threatened to post doxes of her family. Let's see if this loads. As you can see, Sorrenti has a tendency to fabricate facts and events. However, her lies run far deeper than the baseless claims she makes about me. The prevailing narrative of Sorrenti is that of a fearless warrior, fighting for trans rights on the internet while armies of transphobic and hateful trolls try to tear her down. This narrative has been propagated by her, the Twitter activist community, and partisan journalists like Taylor Lorenz of the Washington Post, Amar Khan of Global News, and Alejandra Caraballo, I don't know her name, of Slate and Wired, who uncritically amplified her lies. I'm here to present a truer, darker version of Sorrenti than what the media has fabricated. Before we dive much deeper into her, though, we need to take a close look at the malicious and false campaign that she ran to take down Kiwifarms. After previously sharing my docs with hundreds of thousands of people, hundreds of thousands now, Destiny's now threatening to do the same with my family. He doubled down and also confirmed who he was, and despite this, at Twitter support still refuses to act on the fact that he's ban evading and using his account to harass people. Kiwifarms. Kiwifarms is an internet forum started in 2013 by a slightly deranged individual known as Noel or Joshua Moon. It was spawned out of a series of 4chan threads dedicated to mocking the Sonny Chu comics of a special individual known online as Chris Chan. These days, however, Kiwifarms serves as a central hub for users to collect information about eccentric online individuals known colloquially on the forum as lolcows. They tend to target transgender individuals as well as people who seem to be suffering from some form of mental illness. The targets of these threads range from far left to far right and everything in between, with no individual being off limits to the forum. The forum has garnered a notorious reputation for bullying and harassment and has been blamed by several media outlets for having driven, for having driven at least 2 individuals to suicide, with some claiming 3 were driven to suicide, 2 or 3. This is sloppily worded. These are just a bunch of this. If you Google like Kiwifarm suicides, you can find like 30 or 40 or 50 articles. I just linked 8 here that they forced people to commit suicide. It's quite common for threads to be spun out of pre-existing threads on Kiwifarms, as many lolcows will come into contact with or create other individuals that will inspire new threads. Kiwifarms began a thread about me on May 17th, 2017. It's decently active and currently spans over 360 pages. Topics ranged from users attempting to dox my wife, dox my child's mom, accusations of pedophilia, and baseless accusations of a whole host of improper behavior, among other fun and exciting topics. Other online figures would have threads created about them after interacting with me, including Vosh, Central Committee, Anna Voir, and finally, Keffals. This is the foundation of the baseless claim that Sorrenti made when she said Destiny is the reason Kiwifarms found out about me, although she later contradicted that with her other things saying they found out about her because of her ratio queening. Sorrenti's claims about Kiwifarms being a hateful transphobic community are not without merit. It is undeniable that much harassment has stemmed from the forum, and much of it is undeniably transphobic in nature, with every person on the thread constantly engaging in transphobic attacks against her. While Sorrenti is right to have her personal qualms with Kiwifarms, many of the largest accusations that she's levied against the forum are unsubstantiated at best, or outright lies at worst. One of the largest reasons she's been able to garner so much support for #DropKiwiFarms is because Kiwifarms is often blamed for driving as many as 3 different individuals to suicide. This claim has been uncritically echoed by the Washington Post, Gizmodo, Insider, Daily Dot, NPR, Forward Vice, and NBC News, among many, many other sites. Before we go too much farther, let's give some thoughtful analysis to the suicides that Sorrenti et al. Attributes to Kiwifarms. It is important to note that none of the additional information I'm about to provide is an attempt at character assassination. It's done solely for the purpose to further understand the deeply unfortunate and complex circumstances that may eventually lead to suicide. This is done in order to shed light on the reality behind the claims made by Sorrenti et al. If you or anyone you know struggles with self-harm or suicidal ideation, please make use of resources available to help. This archive site's being real slow today, guys. Oh, this was that one cringe tweet that she made. We did it, Near. I hope your soul can rest. I think she got like 30,000 likes on this, didn't she? This is archived pretty early, but... I am now live and addressing how Destiny lied about me and weaponized a hate form that is implicated in multiple suicides against me in an attempt to ruin my life. I hate that I spent so much time reading about this stupid shit. Good luck. Chloe Sagal. Is it Sagal or Segal? Oh, I should have looked up pronunciation guides. I'll say Segal. Segal? Segal? I think it's Segal. I'll say Segal. Chloe Sagal was known originally as an indie gamer developer who worked on small indie titles such as Homesick and Supernova vs. the Dinosaurs. Her first step into internet notoriety, however, would come from starting a donation drive on Indiegogo in April of 2013. According to Eurogamer, Sagal lied about contracting metal poisoning after a car accident in order to raise funds for sex reassignment surgery. Her quote, "My time frame for surviving this is lowered from a few years to a few months, with loss of many basic functions due to arrive prior to my passing. I don't have time to futz with the system. Right now, I just need to get this thing out of me. I'm a strong and independent woman. I can handle almost anything myself, but I'm setting this aside because I do not want to die from this. I have never wanted to resort to just donations, as opposed to asking for donations from people who've enjoyed my work, but it's clear that this is the best option I have right now." There was no metal poisoning, and there was no car accident. Alistar Pinsoff, a writer for Destructoid, originally written an article supporting Sagal's Indiegogo. After it was personally revealed to him that the fundraiser was a scam, he revealed as much on Twitter, and then he was fired from Destructoid for outing Sagal as trans. Sagal would fight about the funds for some years afterwards, trying to claim that PayPal was scamming her, even reaching out to Brianna Wu in 2015 before being shot down for help. She would later complain on Facebook to Ahuvia Harel, a somewhat notable figure in the Gamergate era, that the trans community turned their back on her. I think this was the initial article that Pinsoff had written supporting her surgery. And then I think he later tweeted out that he had discovered personally, she had told him that it was actually just a giant scam and she was trying to raise money for SRS. And once he found out, I think he ended up tweeting about it, and then he got fired from his job for outing Sagal as being trans. I think Sagal tried to reach out to a couple of big figures. One was Brianna Wu, ironically enough. She tried to reach out to get help from her to get the funds secured, but Brianna didn't want to deal with it. Segal is a bit unhinged. She reached out to somebody else as well. Was also a bit unhinged, but on June 16th, 2018, Segal would be taken to the police station after a wellness check had been called on her. Officers found her with a machete when they arrived, but they were able to defuse the situation before taking her to Unity Center for Behavioral Health in an ambulance, where she was released shortly after. On the morning of June 19th, 2018, Segal limped out of her Portland apartment on crutches, making her way to a nearby park. Once there, she read a statement about her struggle with homeless and mental health issues before covering herself in gasoline and setting herself on fire. Her suicide note was published by a close friend of hers, Jasmine Barlow, which read, "My death cannot be silent. It has to be loud and political. My entire life, my experience, my education has led up to this moment. I can only expect trauma and death for my existence." It added at the end, "Whoever needs my van and the things in it should have it." Despite the fact that harassment by Kiwifarms was not mentioned in the suicide note and does not appear to have played a crucial role in Segal's suicide, the Oregonian, the Daily Dot, and Variety all mention Kiwifarms extensively. Segal had an active Kiwifarms thread from April 27th, 2015 to December 12th, 2017, with the thread dying 8 months before her suicide. Segal had attempted suicide once before in May of 2013 on her Twitch stream, and she threatened it again in Twitter messages to another online figure, Zania Jones, in January of 2015. This was a post that she'd made on these forums talking about how she was going to go live on Twitch and I think eat a bunch of pills to commit suicide. Fuck, where was the post? Was it the one up top? Oh, this is her posting. "I'm scared. Just let me die in peace." And I think she tried to stream this to Twitch. And then this is Zania Jones posting DMs of Chloe saying that she's planning on committing suicide. And I think she threatens her as well, either in here or another one. But both of these attempts occurred before any Kiwifarms thread was ever made about her. When asked what Segal was like by a journalist, a close friend of hers described as much. For most of her life, she dealt with abuse and depression, sensory hell, and executive dysfunction from autism, chronic pain and seizures that I'm not sure ever even got fully diagnosed. In the hardest times, she needed full-time care and support, and I didn't have the resources to provide that. The state didn't seem to either. She'd spent time in inpatient psych care, and they treated her like trash. They had OHP and SNAP, but the system really isn't accessible, so she couldn't get the diagnosis she needed for treatment. Regarding suicide, it was constantly on her mind. She even attempted once live on streaming video, which is a reference to the Twitch thing above. She attempted while living with me. It was a constant shadow over her art. One must conclude that Segal's suicide was likely the culmination of abuse, mental illness, and homelessness suffered throughout her life. A prior partner who dated her for 2 years confirmed as much on Twitter, echoing that her suicide note specifically referenced systemic struggles with maintaining a home and adequate mental health care with low income being the reason she killed herself to send a message. The claim or implication that Segal's suicide was driven solely or primarily from Kiwifarms harassment is unsubstantiated, insensitive, and irresponsible, and it completely trivializes and erases the political statement she aimed to achieve with her suicide. This leaves 2. I think this was her previous partner of 2 years tweeting out about this. Oh, I should have opened this in advance. Fuck, these archive links. They actually might be, oh, never mind, I shouldn't say that, but they could be. I'll wait for this. I'm trying to keep this, I'm trying to go for like brevity, but have enough information at the same time. There's a whole bunch of stuff that we like haven't included. This person's life was incredibly sad and fucked up. The Chloe Segal person, like she was homeless for a large amount of her life. She had huge mental illness issues. Not like, oh, XD, I'm quirky autistic, but like super like needed, like this person said, needed full-time care. And then the extra sad thing is she is literally writing a suicide note calling out issues relating to homelessness and mental illness and not getting the proper care from the state. These are really big deals that if you know people that have special needs, they struggle with these things sometimes. The idea that her suicide is being hijacked and used as like, this is what happens when Kiwifarms post threads on people is pretty fucked up. Oh, this was the previous partner. It's common knowledge nowadays that Chloe is dead because the trans community was oppressing Chloe. No, it isn't. Actually, it is. Everyone aware of the case tells the same thing. Everyone knows. Weird. I dated Chloe Segal for almost 2 years, and this is the first I'm hearing of it. Her suicide note specifically referenced systematic struggles with maintaining a home and adequate mental health care with low income being the reason she killed herself to send a message. But I'm sure whatever nonsense your worm-addled brain absorbed from Encyclopedia Dramatica or whatever makes you more informed on the subject than someone that knew and lived with her personally. Go fuck yourself. Something that I will say in the doing all of the research for this document, I don't know, I might just be slow, maybe it's like a running joke or whatever. Encyclopedia Dramatica is one of the worst resources I have ever seen in my entire fucking life. There's so much wrong information, there's so much bad sourcing, there's so much, it links to something that doesn't even prove what it's just the worst. I would never, if you want to read it for lulz or whatever, go for it, but oh my god. Encyclopedia Dramatica is actually a dog shit fucking resource. Don't rely on it for anything. It's literally just a precursor to Kiwifarms. I'm not going to defend Kiwifarms, but at the very least on Kiwifarms, they're sourcing their stuff or posting links or whatever. Like, Encyclopedia Dramatica literally just makes shit up, and their source is, I made it the fuck up. Like, that leaves to Julie Terryberry. Julie Terryberry was a young, 19-year-old woman who documented many of her thoughts and much of her life on a publicly viewable OkCupid profile. Terryberry claimed to be dealing with depression, ADHD, autism, Asperger's, anxiety, and suicidality. She lived in a furnace room in her house, complained about ants, and posted pictures that resembled those of a hoarder. I know way more about this person's life and fet life than I ever wanted to, but you can see her posts on Facebook where she talks about how fucked her entire living situation is. I'm in a furnace room. Apparently I can't spell that. Also, the room smells fine. It's not a trash pile, just small, which is everyone. Fuck, she typos so much. I can't read her shit. It's going to drive me fucking crazy. It's official. I have ants in the room. Grandma says we have to move the box of food out of the room and spray everything, so of course annoying moving shit around. This is like a picture of like the room that she lives in. Is there a point to this picture, or is it just a messy room? Is there a point to this comment, or is it just being a bitch? By 18, she'd already had 7 cavities from drinking too much orange juice and neglecting her dental health. So I'm back from the dentist, surprise, surprise, I have 7 cavities. Recommended that I stop drinking so much juice because that's part of the problem. They want me in for follow-up, which I should have had last time, but as I have said, since Christmas I was worrying about having the money. But yeah, this person's life is fucked. She'd written about her brother attempting to sexually assault her when she was 11 years old. She mentioned catching that same brother watching bestiality rape porn on the computer. She detailed her uncle shooting up heroin and trying to show her his penis, and that she'd made out with her stepsister when she was very young. It doesn't help that when I was young, one of my earliest memories is catching my brother on the computer watching porn, a woman being mounted by a dog and trying to get away, and a ring of girls all shoving things in their asses, and the girls raping one another's asses with shampoo and licking it afterwards. I was too young to know what to say, but I remember it, and I remember trying to find one of the videos later on in life. This memory is unclear, but our uncle was babysitting us and came up to my room to shoot heroin in his leg and showed me his penis. I ran away and fell down the stairs, and mommy came home, but I don't remember anything else. A couple years later, I go to live with my father and stepmom, who has 2 daughters who visit. I once made out with my stepsister Victoria, again very young, and he wrote it in my diary, but were caught and it never happened again. She also spoke about her experiences with multiple older masters who would teach her BDSM on an online dating app, IMVU, with one of them actually being arrested due to his conduct. Then I found the site IMVU, I threw my love of dress-up games, and that's when I met DOMs and learned of what I am or could be. I was taught by several men. My first master was perfect, but eventually we stopped speaking. Then I found others, but I couldn't be with everyone forever, and I was getting slutty and more cocky and slowly becoming myself. Keep in mind, she's writing this, I believe she's 18 years old for this. I had an online boyfriend named Nick. He looked shiny on camera and he loved my ass. Then there was this other Nick. He was 23 and could suck his own cock. I wanted to meet him. I didn't care about the risk. I had no feeling in me. I would have loved if he raped and killed me. I just didn't care, but I wasn't good at being silent, and he was caught and sent to jail. And as empty as I was, I got emptier. As I got older, I still acted slutty online. I needed to and got into bondage and had a master I saw on IMVU. He was my everything. Then my internet was restricted and my memory grows fuzzy, lost contact with the BF, broke up, sort of had a girlfriend, I lost her, blah, blah, blah. Someone said, Mama Max, but damn go off sis made a video about IMVU because it's fucking swarming with pedophiles. Yeah, maybe. Terry Berry would eventually begin dating Mike. So I want to be fully transparent here. I've gone painstakingly through all of the pronouns in all of this document to make sure, like near, for instance, goes by they, them. However, the Mike person, I think, identified as a woman at some part, but stopped. I'm not fully sure. There's an apology letter written to him as addressing him as goddess. I truly don't know. I couldn't figure out this one, and I'd already dived enough into this girl's like fucked up stories. I didn't want to go any further. If I am mispronouncing Mike, forgive me. I'm sorry, but Jesus Christ. Eventually, we'll get to the apology thing. Eventually began dating Mike, officially announcing themselves as a couple when she, Terry Berry, was 18 and he was 29. They would go on to post many pictures of her bloody, bitten, clawed, and bruised on her Facebook. There's going to be some stuff that I don't link in this document. If you want to go search for it, you can, but I feel like I don't need to post like bloodied pictures of an 18-year-old. If you don't believe me, then you can go search for it yourself, but I don't think I need to show that here. There are rumors on Kiwifarms when I was doing research that she started talking to him and they really started dating when she was 17, but I wasn't able to confirm that. Something that I'll bring up at the end of this document is there's a whole bunch of stuff floating out there that I wasn't able to confirm, but unfortunately my ability to research and my team's ability to research, I should say, because there's a lot of people helping me, was pretty inhibited because I'm not able to publicly reach out to people because Keffals is like trying to sabotage me at every fucking step of the way. But you will see, you will see, you have no idea. You'll see when we get to these parts. Holy shit. Kiwifarms discovered Terry Berry and created a thread on her, about her, on February 6th, 2016. Terry Berry discovered her thread a few weeks later after it was created and continuously taunt farmers on her Facebook. She posted on her FetLife that she'd laughed at it and she told them to do a better job at getting the story straight. Anyone want to read? Anyone want to read me get free roasted by bad stalker? Here's the place to do it. I say bad stalkers because they take half screenshots of only moments I am pissed off in, or of photos without the caption and call me pathetic when they are the fully grown adults behind computer screens making fun of me. Mike doesn't like it. I have majority laughed at it. Many things I wish they could just correct that they have said and tell them how to stalk better. Like maybe if you went through my photos properly and wrote the statuses where I'm not pissed off, there'd be a lot more answered questions and stop taking half screenshots. And fuck any of these people, maybe just message me, blah, blah, blah. Yes, I act like a child. I have Asperger's and I'm still early to be an adult. I have a viable excuse for it. They think Mike isn't really trans. Again, that's discrimination. I'm calling him a pedophile. Like, guys, do some damn proper research. I met him at age 18 and make all of my own choices. And then, well, I mean, yeah, if you don't want people you're making fun of to see what you're saying, it's best to remove the thread. But thanks for putting it back up. Now I can watch myself get stalked and laugh at the free roasting more. Just, guys, again, if you see this, please leave family out of it. They honestly have nothing to do with it. You're taking your adolescent bullying out on them, out on me, not them. These are just more screenshots of stuff related to this is her responding on Facebook about it. Her and Mike's relationship became more tumultuous as time went on, with her wishing they lived together and simultaneously having outbursts regarding their fights. Julie and Mike go back and forth a lot with fighting their relationship. He would cheat on her many times, which apparently he did openly, but when she cheated on him, she was forced to write an essay in order for them to stay together. Supposedly, Mike made her write and post publicly an essay for why he should stay with her when she cheated on him. Keep in mind that 1, this guy is like 11 years older than her, and 2, he's already cheated on her a ton. But this was the essay on why I love my goddess and so. So goddess is in reference to Mike. My goddess instructed I write an essay about why I love her, why I thought it was okay to sleep with someone else, and why I deserve another chance, / how I'll make up for it. Just, Jesus. She would finally commit suicide by hanging herself in her grandmother's furnace room after Mike finally broke up with her. It seemed like they went back and forth a lot. Mike finally went ahead and broke up with her, and then eventually she killed herself later on. This is Mike shows up and he fights on Kiwifarms. Kiwifarms responds, as they obviously would, with jokes and shit. But, yeah. One thing that sucks about having to do all of this research in private is that when I was still openly feuding with Keffals, I had a lot of people reach out to me with a lot of information. When I had to go underground with the research, it became harder to reach out to people. But this is a message that somebody sent me that had went to school with her. Or she was a few years ahead, but take it or leave it for what it's worth. An individual wishing to remain anonymous who attended the same school as Terry Berry reached out to me to add her experience with her. I only knew her when she was a kid. We went to elementary school together. She was a couple years younger than me, and I rarely interacted with her, but I remember a few weird things. She was a sweet girl, but kind of off. She would act out and would just exhibit weird behavior for a kid. She really didn't have a lot of friends, if any. She basically just kept it to herself. I know she came from a very poor and troubled home. Her parents, I suspect, were doing drugs and were pretty uninvolved in her life. I grew up across the street from her elementary school, and my mom would my mom would take me and a couple of friends to the playground there on weekends, and I remember we saw her there a few times all by herself without her parents or anyone watching her. My mom became pretty concerned about her. I remember we gave her and her family some of my hand-me-down clothes and toys. After I went to high school, I never saw or heard about her again until she died. I didn't have her on social media, and neither did any of my friends, so I didn't know that she was posting. I didn't even know that she was being posted about on Kiwifarms until like 2 days ago when I read a post on your subreddit that mentioned her name. I was completely mind-fucked by it. My friends and I had all just assumed her death was a suicide or something drug-related, but we never looked into it again. So again, I really wasn't close to her, especially in later years when all of this was happening, so I can't tell you with 100% confidence that Kiwifarms had nothing to do with it, but I can tell you that she was clearly mentally ill and troubled even from a young age and didn't have a support system around her. So in my opinion, just from what I know of her situation, this is going to happen with or without Kiwifarms. Makes me feel sick that Keffals and other people are using her to push some weird agenda. Julie had a very hard life. She doesn't need to be used as some pawn in some weird fucking clout game. People just need to leave her alone and let her memory rest. Julie's life was a mess, likely from birth. She'd been sexually exploited by multiple family members, likely had drug problems throughout her entire family, had an unstable living condition, and chased horribly one-sided relationships her entire life, with previous partners enacting physical abuse on her as part of her lifestyle. Some of those pictures between her are really fucked up, but yeah. The claim or implication that Julie's suicide was driven solely or primarily from Kiwifarms harassment is unsubstantiated, insensitive, and irresponsible. That leaves one. David Ginder. Ginder is how I've decided to pronounce this person's last name. I don't know if there is a better way to do it, but Ginder it is. The third death attributed to Kiwifarms, David Ginder, is the most contentious of them all. Ginder was considered somewhat of a programming savant. Under the alias Bew, they single-handedly created the first cycle-accurate SNES emulator, Higan, originally called BSNES. It was the first multi-emulator capable of emulating every single component of the SNES. The name Bew was chosen due to Ginder's obsession with an old Super Nintendo JRPG, Bahamut Lagoon. I don't know if I need to explain this. Creating emulators that can accurately emulate every single underlying chip without using weird shortcuts or whatever is important, because when you emulate old Super Nintendo games on worse forms of emulation, you can have like errors and glitches that pop up as a result of like not perfectly emulating underlying architecture. I don't think that's important for this. You don't need to know it. It was, but the emphasis is just that like this person on their own made huge strides towards creating an insanely accurate, the most accurate Super Nintendo emulator. As a random fun fact, I'm pretty sure that part of this emulator was even used to preserve Stephen Hawking's voice. It's like a random thing that I read. I think somebody else came across it as well, but despite Ginder's success in the emulation scene, they were frequently involved in drama across several mediums. They were almost scammed in 2011 by an admin of Assembler Games, Kevin, over a monitor on eBay. They posted about this. In 2012, Ginder tried to auction off their complete collection of Super Nintendo games for $20,000, although they received no acceptable bids. In 2014, they began to post about their mental health, complaining about their lack of progress in learning Japanese or drawing, and begging someone to reach out and help them learn Japanese better. Ginder was also frequently involved in fights and drama with other parts of the emulator community. In 2016, they posted about being fervently anti-Trump, and in 2017, they revealed their rather young-looking persona on Twitter. I don't think this is not safe for work. I think you got a lot of harassment for... Does this count as not safe for work? I mean, it's kind of naked, but kind of not. I don't know why that's the only link I collect. I probably could have gone through but yeah, Nier has been involved or had been involved in a lot of different fights with a lot of different communities over a lot of different things. They expressed concern about their failing health and losing too many productive years of their life without meaningfully progressing in any areas beyond programming. One of the things that David brings up constantly is that they worried that they'd wasted a lot of time programming just one thing. Their progress with Japanese was very poor. They didn't feel like they had made, like, they'd done anything with their life that was worthwhile besides the emulator. Like, that was a big consistent thread throughout a lot of their posting. Geiner's Kiwifarms thread was created on May 14th of 2018. The thread was, by Kiwifarms standards, a relatively inactive thread. After only a week of creation, the thread died until September 12th, 2019. After another week of posting, the thread died again until February 2nd of 2020. On February 7th, Geiner shows up and begins posting in their own thread, explaining why they created their near persona and their attempts to separate their programming achievements from their personal oddities. Geiner even goes as far as to thank some of the posters for the wake-up call they saw in the thread. I think at the time of Geiner posting, I think this thread was only a few pages long. Pretty sure it was less than 10 pages long. Geiner's quote, "I'm not going to condone anything here, but honestly, I appreciate that this thread was made. I really do. It put all my bullshit in one place and it was a bit of a wake-up call for me. It's not perfect, but I've been trying to get my shit together as much as I could these past 2 years. I'm not going to dismiss my friends or those who happen to be trans or furry or on the spectrum or whatever it is you guys dislike to fit in here. So I'm sure it's never going to be good enough. I do dismiss anyone who hurts another child or animal, though. Putting those people in jail is the one thing I support from here. I took the valid criticisms to heart, and I've been making changes. I took down my old articles, I stay out of politics and online arguments, and I'm keeping my head down and staying productive instead. I'm working on making software now that people don't hate and that aren't filled with my own bizarre hangups. I'm trying to pass on my knowledge so that someone else can take the torch when I'm gone. So sincerely, and only in my case and no one else's, thank you for the wake-up call here, OP. No hard feelings, I'm not asking you to take it down, and I know you never would anyway. Keep it, mirror it, put it on a titanium disc and ship it into space. I'll own all of my mistakes. If you ever get a DMCA or GDPR request or some bullshit on this, it's not me. Send me an email and I'll counterclaim it myself. People do impersonate me, for example, on Stormfront, so keep your guard up against any false flagging or white knighting, please. I support free speech absolutely, even when it's speech I don't like, because silencing it only makes things worse. I even defended Tom in the recent Goman translation controversy, knowing they'd lose my support, knowing that it'd lose me support among my friends. And I'll lose a lot of support by simply posting here at all, so be it. In any case, this has nothing to do with you folks, but I've been planning to retire at the end of the year or so. I did what I set out to do with my SNES emulation, and now I've mostly outlived my usefulness. Let me wrap up my last few projects, and then I'm out. Many of the replies were positive, with Near themselves expressing their surprise at the response their post received. It could be worse. You could be unskilled, lacking genitals, and doxed. Count your blessings. Transphobic attack. Well, we're all assholes here. Most of us are just taking the piss out of you. Half of us are autistic too. Last and most importantly, do you have anyone you'd like to post about or dox? We have small but persistent cliques of lefties. They could use someone with your skills. These are just like posts, like, yeah. This was Near's response to some of those last posts. I thought it only fair to at least read some of the responses. To tell you the truth, I was expecting the complete opposite reaction. I've been humbled and pleasantly surprised. Thank you. I feel like I understand your perspective better now than through only being an outside observer. Apologies for the misconceptions I held about this place. But yeah, anyway. The thread lay dormant again until March 21st, 2020, following another announcement from Geiner of an indefinite break from the internet. They would show up on Kiwifarms on April 2nd to explain the reason, citing real-life issues and anxiety issues for their indefinite break. Then on July 24th, 2020, Geiner deleted and deactivated every account they own, causing both Kiwifarms and Reddit to take notice. While some Redditors in the thread seem to blame farmers for the disappearance, Kiwifarms users point to Geiner's interactions in the thread and disagree. On July 25th, the next day, Geiner's website would reappear, but only to announce that they were permanently quitting. On July 26th, Geiner returned to using the Bew account, posting a somber farewell message on their Twitter. The main issue they cited was that an anonymous individual had made a massive dox list of every person Geiner was associated with, causing immense stress and forcing them to remove themselves from public life. Reddit attempts to weave a narrative on the subreddit emulation that Kiwifarms is responsible for the dox, but Kiwifarms users point out that there were posts on the Emugen boards, Emugen? I don't know how to pronounce this, board on 4chan well before any threads were ever created on Kiwifarms. Geiner had even written a thread in 2017 on their message board about the harassment they were receiving from the lead developer of RetroArch, complaining about harassment they'd received since 2010. Nier was, again, in drama across like the entire emulation community. I didn't click on any of the early links, but there's like so much like random drama and stuff like related to this person that they were involved in with other people, that other people were throwing at them. Just a lot of just a lot of shit, and also a lot of posting on 4chan. I think they were. I think it was on the VG boards is where like a lot of threads get posted about Nier, but. Emulator drama stream went. There's so much drama in the emulator community that I didn't know about, that I don't care about, and that I will continue to not care about. On October 16th, 2020, Ginder returns, once again spilling drama related to their previous doxer. Oh, fuck, I missed one. Once again spilling drama related to their previous doxer. They create a new Reddit thread account to work on emulators and games, while also revealing they believe that they have RSD. On June, this has to do with like how RSD can affect your life. People who have the condition sometimes work hard to make everyone like and admire them, or they might stop trying and stay out of any situation where they might get hurt. The social withdrawal can look like social phobia, which is a serious fear of being embarrassed in public. On June 26th, 2021, Ginder sent an email to Joshua Moon requesting for him to take down their thread on Kiwifarms, claiming that the doxing stemmed from the forum. If Moon accepts, Nier said they'll give them 120,000 USD and offer their services as a software developer for the site. If Joshua Moon refuses, Nier claims that they will reply with a scan of their passport, a recent photo, proof that it's theirs, and then hang themselves. I think Nier even posts like a picture of their ID like in a noose on this. I don't know if I included that in here. Ginder and Moon go back and forth over several emails, with Ginder sending 4 emails within a 13-hour time span before finally stopping, claiming that they're going to commit suicide. They said that they had given their passport scan to a trusted friend who will post it anonymously in a few hours so that you guys can confirm it's legitimate. They then said to look for news in the Arakawa ward of Tokyo in a few days. No passport scan of David Ginder, nor news of an American suicide in Tokyo ever emerged. On that same day, Ginder posted a Twitter thread laying the entire blame for their suicide on the 13-page thread about them on Kiwifarms. A friend of Ginder's, Hector, posts a note on behalf of an anonymous mutual friend of Ginder and him who claimed to have been on the phone when Ginder committed suicide. The identity of this anonymous individual has never been identified, and they also lay the entire blame for Ginder's death on Kiwifarms. They never mention the 500 plus posts on 4chan's VG board, most coming from the Imogen General thread on Ginder. Interestingly, they also claim to have frequently gone out to eat and seem to have hung out with Ginder, despite Ginder claiming just the same day that they had no real-life friends. This was part of Nier's final thread. The internet isn't a game, it's real life. I'm a real person. This stuff really hurts. I poured my entire life into this. I have no real life friends. I have no other reason for being, only this, and now I have nothing. I'm trying to get this archive to load. Hold on. Is this worth reading? This is kind of a weird note, but at 11:45 on Sunday, I was on a phone call with Nier. They'd just taken a large overdose of codeine and guanfacine. I saw a photo of the noose. 30 minutes into the call, Les Voyages de l'Âme by Alceste, I don't know, started playing at the other end. I wouldn't hear their voice again. Nier took their own life. That's how a news article would phrase it. Suicide is a voluntary action, a problem with oneself, implying nobody is to blame but the victim and perpetrator, one and the same. But that's not how human brains work. We are not cold, calculating machines. We are a product of our environment. We are shaped by our experiences. A single powerful traumatic event can change a person forever. So can a million small ones. This is not a weakness of the mind. It is a fundamental part of what it means to be human. Nier was a brilliant mind in a corner of the web, all too often rife with toxicity and harassment. Despite this, they continued to pour their life into the one thing they loved, emulation and retro gaming. Despite this, they continue. Developer of the BSNES, Higgin, and the Eris emulators, Nier was a relentless force for accuracy in the formerly haphazard world of emulation. Working out the most elusive hardware glitches and corner cases, they advanced the world of SNES emulation by leaps and bounds. They also recently released their ultimate labor of love, a fan translation of Bahamut Lagoon that might well be the most exacting and meticulously crafted language adaptation of a video game of the era. Nir was also incredibly kind, funny, an incredibly kind, funny, and welcoming person. I'd known them for several years, but after they moved to Tokyo a few years back, we started talking more often. One of the most modest people I've ever known, they were unlikely to suggest hanging out in person, but never rejected an offer. I wish I'd done that more often. We've had long text conversations and shared many stories. Nir did not commit suicide. Nir was murdered, victim of a lifetime of harassment. After an abusive childhood and followed by community toxicity, Nir was eventually targeted by Kiwifarms. Members of that website made a sport of preying on the less fortunate, on those in positions liable to being emotionally abused, and they do so relentlessly. From the comfort of anonymity or of sitting in front of their computer thousands of kilometers away, they glee in slowly destroying the psyche of others bit by bit to death if possible. Nir survived that. Many wouldn't, but Nir was strong enough to overcome that level of emotional abuse. But Kiwifarms is relentless. Not to be defeated in their pursuit of utter emotional and psychological destruction, they went after who Nir treasured most, their friends. Doxing some, directly targeting others, and even specifically seeking out suicidal people to target. That broke Nir. After falling down a depression, a spiral of depression, and eventually breaking off contact with everyone last year, I feared for the worst. Eventually, they were luckily able to get help and found medication that helped them cope with the psychological scars of abuse in late 2020. I first heard from Nir again in late October 2020. We started having chats. It seemed like things were getting better. Unfortunately, medication can be a fickle beast. It didn't work forever. The looming threat of Kiwifarms, of their power to destroy not just Nir, but also their friends, caused them daily anxiety that just wouldn't go away. Worried about their friends, or worried that their friends would feel burdened by their condition again, Nir decided to avoid the subject. I only found out about this relapse today. And then the rest is like a message to Kiwifarms. But I last saw Nir on June 9th. We had sushi in Akihabara, then sat down for a cup of coffee. I was a bit busy that day, but I was looking forward to inviting them to hang out again soon. Some song played on repeat at the other end of the call for another hour. I couldn't bring myself to hang up. Published on behalf of a mutual friend of Nir and I who wishes to remain anonymous for their own protection. In all of my research, I'm trying to figure out like what flipped for Nir, because it seemed like initially they were lukewarm towards Kiwifarms or didn't care much, but then something flipped and they started to blame everything on Kiwifarms. There was a big docs list that was posted of them and a lot of their friends, and I think they might have blamed that on Kiwifarms, but there is no evidence or proof that Kiwifarms is ever the originator of that docs list, and Nir had people across the internet that hated them way more than Kiwifarms. So I'm not sure why Nir blamed Kiwifarms. I have no idea, but Hector tweeted the next day that they had confirmed that Nir passed away yesterday, with the police department in charge of the investigation. No further proof is posted. Of the 3 suicides blamed on Kiwifarms, Geinder seems to be the most attributable, given that they call out Kiwifarms specifically in their final tweets. The problem? There is no conclusive evidence that Geinder is actually dead. The evidence given for Geinder actually having committed suicide is scant. Their friend Hector tweeted that they confirmed with police that Geinder was dead, then posted a note from an anonymous friend claiming they had been on the phone when Geinder died. No police statement, no obituaries, no death certificate, no news articles, no U.S. State Department logs were ever made public. Geinder's passport, the one they'd claimed in an email to Moon would be released posthumously, was never posted. Suicides are taken quite seriously in Japan too, with some apartment complexes even requiring purification rituals due to the stigma. It seems odd that a somewhat notable foreigner killing themselves in Japan would draw absolutely no attention to itself. Geinder claimed to be ready to give their life savings of $120,000 to Knoll. Were the proceedings to settle Geinder's estate? Geinder's widower husband hasn't made any public statements about their death, neither has Geinder's family. The only 2 people who have confirmed the death are Geinder's friend, quote unquote, Hector, and an employer who's provided 0 evidence of death. All we have from Hector are ambiguous tweets, and all we have from Wayne Beckett, Geinder's employer, are bizarre ramblings on Kiwifarms. I tried to look up information. We all tried to look up information about this Wayne Beckett guy. I have no idea. It is a real person that works for some very, very small company. Their posting on Kiwifarms is bizarre. Here are some of the postings that I'll just read you through the postings on Kiwifarms. This is supposedly the employer that confirmed the death, okay? I hope you bastards are happy with yourselves. This morning, police broke into his apartment and found David had killed himself. Now we have to try and find his parents' details to tell them he's dead. Fucking funny, right? I said it before in this thread. I'll say it one more time. Bu worked for us. Someone forwarded the post online to us. People in the Tokyo office went to check on him after the police broke in, and they found him dead. He had hung himself. If it is a lie, he is fucking... Wait. Holy shit. Fuck me. I should have reread this another time. This says they hung himself, but before they said they'd taken medication. Okay. There's a lot of inconsistencies on a lot of different things, by the way, going forward. But if it is a lie, they're a fucking good actor, pretending to be dead for over a week now. I have had the dubious pleasure of speaking to his loved ones. This is my real name, no aliases. He specifically stated Kiwifarms in his suicide note. Oh, the post said OD and noose. Well, they said they saw a picture of the noose, but I don't know if they said they'd hung themselves. But much of the blame, if not all of it, lies squarely here. This is that same talking point. All of the blame lies here. All of the blame lies here. Fuck. Oh, I was going to reach out to Noel because one thing that I was curious about, it was mentioned that there was a noose in a picture. Yeah, I remember that. He said he saw a picture of the noose. His friend did. One of the things I was going to reach out to Noel about was to figure out, Noel says that he verified, or I believe this Wayne Beckett account was verified. I wonder what that means. How Noel does the verification on this person. I'm super curious. But Kiwifarms was going down a ton because of all the DDoSing and everything, so... there was no way for me to get a hold of him, but whatever. Why would I tell you? You guys are such dipshits. If the door was locked from the inside, how would they open the fucking door? Secondly, if you don't know his name, how do you know he hasn't died? Take a look at the obituaries. I'm not going to waste any more seconds of my life on you morons. Congratulations, Sherlock. You know his first name. Whether you believe me or not is irrelevant. I have better things to do than to try to convince a bunch of incels of a colleague's death. Believe what you want. Perhaps you will sleep at night. Congratulations, Kiwifarms. This is a picture of an urn they post, and I think they have his name, or their name beneath it. I have a photo of his corpse, but to be honest, I don't think that'd be kind to his loved ones. No doubt you would say it's photoshopped. Crikey, you guys are sick as fuck. He would need a fucking Ouija board, or not Ouija, fuck, I think I said that. Ouija keyboard to log in. This is going to be my last post ever on this site. Why am I bothering to try to convince people I can't stand I don't know? I don't give a shit if you don't believe me. I absolutely refuse to post a photo of David's dead body so you guys can jerk off to it, get a life, get off this sick site, and do something useful with your lives rather than hounding people to suicide. Mic drop. Okay, I don't know if you can see the mic drop. Fuck. Is that the best you guys can do? I give you my real name and you suggest my career, which is probably 3 times your age, is going nowhere. You funny guy. Ha ha ha. Retard, ouch, et tu brute, or whatever. But anyway, Jesus. In these ramblings, Beckett attempts to debate Kiwi farmers into believing that Ginder is dead, as well as utilizing really out-of-place terminology given the subject matter, such as crikey and mic drop. Kotaku, Clutch Points, IGN, GameSpot, GameRant, and Vice all reported that Ginder was deceased. However, every single publication was simply uncritically reporting on the same tweets by Hector, where Ginder was proclaimed deceased with 0 direct evidence provided. USA Today at least included a statement by Ginder's previous employer, Wayne Beckett, about his death, but oddly, Wayne stated that Ginder didn't explicitly name Kiwifarms when opening up about the online harassment they were receiving. This is kind of weird. Oh fuck, I need the other post. I think when USA Today talks to Ginder in this article, or I'm sorry, when they talk to Beckett in this article, I should have posted the other one, the outline one or whatever. But when they talk to Beckett in this article, I think Beckett says that Ginder didn't explicitly name Kiwifarms about the harassment. I couldn't prove this. I wish I could have. I wish I had more. I wish I could have been more public. I don't know if the Wayne Beckett that posted on Kiwifarms is the same Wayne Beckett that exists in real life. I don't know, but I guess that's for Noel to know, depending on how he did the verification. Let me get a drink, hold on. People are posting the thing. Sorry, hold on. Wayne Beckett, founder of, I'll just read this in Hong Kong, founder of Hong Kong-based data power development, said Near, whose full name was David Kirk Ginder, was an employee and confirmed Ginder's death to USA Today. Beckett said Ginder, who identified as non-binary, shared that they were having trouble with bullying online, though they didn't explicitly name Kiwifarms. Interesting. They also know that they're non-binary there in that USA Today article, but when they were posting on Kiwifarms, they constantly misgendered Near. But hey, who knows? Unless some evidence is presented or someone credible comes forward, it's difficult to conclude with any certainty that Ginder is actually dead. It's plausible that they were suicided, or that they had suicided the online Nier personality to escape the pressure they were facing online, which is consistent with their history of deleting and recreating accounts in the past. All that would be needed to prove that they actually did pass away would be if Hector or some close friend of Ginder's posted any form of official documentation proving their passing. It's incredible to think that so many journalists It's incredible to think that so many journalists spanning so many years have so thoughtlessly attributed 3 suicides to Kiwifarms. Hardly any of the research done on any of these 3 individuals was gathered via any media sources. Instead, I had to dig through archives of 4chan and Kiwifarms threads and FetLife and Facebook to understand what was really going on. Not a single journalist seemed willing to do any homework beyond copying the work of other journalists before them. In the end, the 3 suicides caused by Kiwifarms ended up being 2 misrepresentations and 1 unconfirmed case. There was 1 potential silver bullet. This is another one that I could have reached out publicly. If anybody can know this, or if anybody has any information, wants to shoot me an email or Twitter email probably. If anybody knows what Nier's Twitch account was and can confirm it, if they know 100%, I can actually show that messages were posted on that Twitch account after Nier had supposedly committed suicide. But it's like, but I'm not gonna say what the Twitch account is because I don't want people faking it, but the way that I can collect logs, or we can collect logs and look at stuff, I can actually show that. But I would need somebody to reach out to me and confirm that they knew what Nier's Twitch account was. And until then, I can't do it. There's a thing that I'm like, 50% it could be their Twitch account, but I'd have to know. That would be a pretty big thing, but I didn't want to include it here because I didn't have enough evidence for it. But yeah. But if anybody knows, if anybody who's listening, anybody knows, that would be quite the meme. Okay. Whew. Still going. Who are the doxers? Let's be clear, Kiwifarms is not a happy place. The site undoubtedly collects and organizes personal information about people, known colloquially as doxing. And Sorrenti's thread is no exception to this. She has every reason to be upset with the site, and there's much to be said about the accountability that websites should have when it comes to curating people's personal information. However, Kiwifarms is not unique to this, and it may not even be the main culprit in regards to Sorrenti's multiple doxes and swats. Is it fair that Kiwifarms takes the blame for every single bad actor harassing Sorrenti? What if Sorrenti knew for a fact that other websites existed that were involved in her harassment? What if she blamed all of the harassment on Kiwifarms because it was a softer target that gave her more of a positive spotlight instead? There's another website we're going to be discussing extensively in this section. I don't want to give more spotlight to a potentially harmful website that hosts personal information, so I'll be referring to it as Website 0. While it's true that Kiwifarms has hosted her doxes, is there any evidence that any of the swattings came from Kiwifarms, or that it was even Kiwifarms who originally produced those doxes? A careful reading of her thread would show that Kiwifarms users don't find out about Sorrenti's raid until she's actually announced it on her GoFundMe. It's possible that one could think Kiwifarms users would attempt to swat her secretly, but does it really make sense when it's also been claimed that users on the site are publicly threatening Sorrenti? I decided not to do a whole section on this, but just because there's like implications, but the information around the threats that were posted on Kiwifarms that I think ultimately got them delisted from Cloudflare is hella sus. There is a person that so this person has an account that's hasn't posted in 2 years. Then they start posting in Keffals' thread. This person makes a threatening post at 3:42. Keffals has a screen cap at 3:53, tweets at 3:55, and then at 3:56 the post is deleted. I don't know if any of you guys have ever seen that thread on Kiwifarms, but that shit moves at like 1,000,000 miles an hour. I think I've clicked on her thread like once or twice, and when I click this thread, it's like there's 20 new pages in like 2 minutes. It's like not even worth trying to read. But it's pretty crazy that there were 2 threads posted on Kiwifarms. I'm pretty sure both of them got taken down within 15 minutes. And somehow it's like still like too big of a, it's just interesting because like Twitter would never be held to the same standard. No other website would ever be held to the same standard. Somebody posts a thread, moderators remove it, but the thread gets like shut down from, the thread gets shut, or the entire website gets like kicked off of Cloudflare. Like that's pretty insane. But regardless, Kiwifarms users don't find out about Sorrenti's raid until she's actually announced it. It seems reasonable that we would need a high bar of proof that serious harassment like swatting is actually originating from a website before attempting to wipe it from the internet. Sorrenti's actions have been continuously and needlessly reckless for somebody in her position. She announced that she'd be staying in a hotel on August 13th and took a picture of her cat on the hotel sheets. This hotel is doxxed within hours. Sorrenti then claims that she starts receiving pizzas from various locations to her hotel room, which then prompts her to move to a new hotel. On August 18th, Sorrenti decided to taunt the doxers on Twitter after moving to a new hotel. Shortly after, on August 21st, Website Zero hacks into her Uber account and orders $131 worth of food to her new hotel. When retelling the story, Sorrenti claims that it was at least $500 worth of food. Although Website Zero only posts the original order receipt, it's possible that they placed multiple orders to reach the $500 price the next day. These are like messages that she's posting. Fuck, this archive set is super laggy. She posts pictures of her cat. She talks about that she's moving to hotels. She talks about moving hotels. Here's like pictures she's posting. They cross-reference the bed sheets and the picture of my cat with other local hotels until they found a match. It's people that like hide from doxes and stuff. I don't know why anybody would ever post pictures and talk so much about where they're going, but we'll get more into that later. Wait, what was this? Oh, and then this is like her taunting the doxers, basically. They'll never find me now. I'm better at hiding than Saddam Hussein was. After the food shows up at her hotel, Sorrenti posts a picture of it on the new hotel's bed sheets. Predictably, the new hotel is doxed in a few hours, and then notice how she reflexively blames Kiwifarms for this. I think there's more pictures. Hi, Ubersport. My account was hacked and had the password. I don't know why she feels the need to post pictures online, but she uses this food order to, this is why I want you to drop Kiwifarms from Cloudflare. Even speaking up about it has meant retaliation for me. They're going to keep trying to track me down, and you have the power to end all of this. The next day, a post on Website Zero was made with proof that it was them that doxed Sorrenti's Uber account. This post includes phone numbers, accounts, addresses, emails, and passwords of Sorrenti and the name for many of her family members. Website Zero has apparently been working on this list since March 28th, with links to 35 different personal accounts belonging to Sorrenti, her mother, and her partner. This collection includes account names, half-completed phone numbers, unfinished passwords, and more email addresses. This page was listed as a work in progress, with the members actively calling for users to track her down. From here, Sorrenti makes the decision to move to Northern Ireland to flee from the internet harassment she's been receiving. I don't know why no journalist ever questions why she has to go to a different country to run away from people online. That's just kind of like a thing that people just uncritically repeat. It seems a little bit strange, but okay. She starts tweeting out information specific to her travels, with some commenters even calling her out for her recklessness. One among many questionable decisions is that she chose to move in with a friend who she knew had already been doxxed in the past, despite raising money on her GoFundMe explicitly for escaping the harassment from Kiwifarms. Nice jobs, Kiwi losers, DDoSing my website while I'm not even live streaming because I'm traveling. Greatest minds in the world on that hate forum. Anyway, I'm almost in Europe. I'll touch base later. Love you, hun, but stop giving us location updates for fuck's sake. Europe is an entire continent. I don't think that helps me get doxxed. Keep in mind this after people apparently doxed her from her bed sheets. Like, Website Zero identifies this new location on August 26th thanks to a doorknob and takes credit for it once again before it even makes its way over to Kiwifarms. It's important to note that Kiwifarms was down from August 26th to August 29th while this dox took place. Sorrenti's dox was also pinned to the top of Website Zero from the date it was created until September 4th. Once more, Sorrenti blames only Kiwifarms, calling them out by name on August 29th. Still not a single mention or allusion to Website Zero. I think this is just going to be another post of that. Why does Sorrenti never mention Website Zero? It can't be due to lack of knowledge. She tweeted out to another journalist, Jesse Singal, asking him to stop making allusions to Website Zero because she didn't want anyone to find out. This was her talking about the Kiwifarms. Kiwifarms users identified my location in Ireland and threatened to show up at my address at 9 a.m. tomorrow. I've already found out their name and forwarded their information to the police. We need to get this behavior down. More blaming everything on Kiwifarms. Jesse was almost going to report on that other, is Website Zero an alias? Yes. Jesse was almost going to report about this other website, and Keffals literally begs him not to. Can you please stop making allusions to the site that is the docs of my entire family? I haven't talked about it and asked journalists not to mention it because I don't want to put my family at risk. There's no reason for you to be sharing this information. Actual journalists know what the truth is. I've been quite forward about it. You're actively putting my family at risk because you care more about views than human decency. What the hell are you even doing? It's kind of crazy to me that like basically every single bad thing that's happening to her is blamed on Kiwifarms when there are other websites that are working in the background that are arguably doing more than Kiwifarms is. But in a private message she sent to me on September 17th, Sorrenti expressed concern about me reporting on her doxing claims. We'll provide proof of this exchange later on in the document. When you started talking about doing a second manifesto stream and alluded to my Zero paste, I was scared. Zero users aren't stupid like Kiwifarms users. They simply post the docs and are smart enough to know how to hack accounts, collect info from data breaches, and use social engineering to get the information they need. Zero retaliated against me when I started the campaign to get Cloudflare to drop Kiwifarms, and they did a more comprehensive docs of my family and friends than Kiwifarms did. It would seem as though she was aware of the existence of this website from day one. Sorrenti seemed so afraid of me covering this information, she falsely accused me of threatening to share her docs multiple times and called for mass reports on my Twitter account until it was banned. Sorrenti would also go on to blame Kiwifarms for the hacking of her Uber Eats account, even directly calling for Cloudflare services for the website in response to the hack. This is her, after previously sharing my docs with hundreds of thousands of people, Destiny's now threatening to do the same with my family. Twitter support, a user went by Steve Bonnell was banned for making violent threats against a telecommunications company. Just this was like a 10-year-old tweet, everything she could find. Currently ban evading using the account The Omni Liberal to threaten to release my family's private information. This was her tweeting to get Kiwifarms dropped because of the Uber Eats hack, even though the Uber Eats hack was taken credit for by Website Zero. Despite knowing this, however, her Uber Eats hack was posted and taken credit for on Website Zero on August 22nd. They literally posted the receipts on the Uber Eats thing. Despite knowing this, she places absolutely no blame on the website and funnels the attention into her campaign against Kiwifarms. Why is there still no mention or even allusion to Website Zero when they are actually known for doxing, swatting, hacking, and harassment? Let's review. Keffals has claimed insofar as doxing goes that, and then I think this is just a summary of everything. On August 18th, Kiwifarms posted a dox of her hotel room in the house she used to live at. Kiwifarms did post her old house, her parents' house, on March 27th, but Website Zero also posted her old house on April 2nd, August 14th, and again on August 22nd. Her first hotel was posted on Kiwifarms, though the leak was a result of an investigation of a picture that she posted herself on Twitter. She's now in between homes because Kiwifarms keeps attempting to dox and swat her, claim on August 18th again. Sorrenti's hotel was doxed as a result of her picture, though there was no room number posted. Kiwifarms doxed her entire family. Sorrenti's family had all of their information hosted on Website Zero on August 22nd and had been in the works since March 28th. On August 31st, she says Kiwifarms posted a dox of her address in Northern Ireland. Website Zero took credit for and hosted her Northern Ireland address, while Kiwifarms was down on August 26th. On September 9th, Kiwifarms doxed her for the third time and hacked her Uber account. Kiwifarms did post her hotel docs, but the Uber hack was done by Website Zero. She also claims that the food showed up at her doorstep, despite the receipt showing the food was taken to her second hotel, in which no room number was posted. I don't know if these inconsistencies matter or not. More of those later. September 12th, Kiwifarms posted a dox of her and her loved ones and had the police point guns at her. Sorrenti's parents' address was posted 3 times on Website Zero up to this point and once on Kiwifarms 5 months before the raid. Website Zero posted the full family docs on August 22nd. There is no evidence of Kiwifarms being behind the raid either. September 15th, Kiwifarms had doxed her and her family and then impersonated her to cause the raid. Again, Sorrenti's family had all of their information hosted together on Website Zero on August 22nd. Her parents' address was posted a single time, 5 months before the raid, and 3 times on Website Zero. Once again, there is no evidence that Kiwifarms was behind the raid. It is undeniable that Kiwifarms hosted Sorrenti's dogs multiple times, but they were not responsible for the Uber hack. There's no evidence that they were behind any of the swattings. Website Zero is a far likelier culprit, given that they have a reputation for all of these things. So why does she act so recklessly in the face of all this danger, and why has she never once called Website Zero out or even alluded to its existence? I see you all. So yeah, this is kind of crazy. When we started digging through all of the, or I guess I can give my take on all of it at the end, but it feels like a lot of the harassment, the actual fucked up shit, like the Uber Eats account hack and all of that, was coming from this other website that I guess there's not enough clout in attacking them, or I guess you're not famous enough for going after them, or whatever. But never seems to ever want to mention or bring up any of that, or hashtag drop any of that. Number 4, the swattings. The London, Ontario swatting. On August 9th, Sorrenti opened a GoFundMe and posted a video speaking about an incident with the London, Ontario police that occurred on August 5th.
On August 5th, I was woken up by London Police Services pointing an assault rifle in my face at my home. I was told later that at 6 a.m. that morning, an email impersonating me was sent to every city councillor in the city of London, Ontario, stating that I have an illegal firearm, that I killed my mother, and that I plan to go to City Hall and shoot every cisgender person I see. I was shown the email while I was being interrogated in police custody. While the emails were riddled with grammatical errors and read more like something a troll would say than something I would sincerely say, the police took it seriously. Not only that, the email said my name was Clara Sorrenti, but also stated what my dead name was. It was an obvious attempt to make the police humiliate me.
We won't watch all of this. I think I go through every claim in the following sections, but hold on to your hats for this one, Jesus. The narrative set forth by the initial video was one of terror and transphobia. Sorrenti claimed several times that she had awoken to police services pointing an assault rifle at her face, and that the police engaged in transphobia multiple times against her for no reason other than the prejudice they have towards transgender people. She claimed that she felt traumatized in her closing remarks. Sorrenti made several claims in that video that would slowly mutate over the following days and weeks. The London police chief, Steve Williams, put out a statement clarifying some of the accusations made by Sorrenti. Despite her initial media blitz on the 9th, which included an entire press kit linked in a Google Drive beneath her GoFundMe video, Sorrenti has not responded to CBC's request for comment on Williams' statement regarding her arrest. Let's analyze the evolution and veracity of these claims based on her statements over time. So let's go through, here's 2 original claims.
On August 5th,
Wait, we got this one, I think we already watched.
when I was woken up by police officers and saw the assault rifle pointed at me, I thought I was going to die. I feel traumatized.
I was woken up by London police services pointing an assault rifle at my face. When I was woken up by police officers and saw the assault rifles pointed at me, I thought I was going to die. In an August 10th interview, she states,
resulted in police with guns at her doorstep and her being arrested.
When I went into the hallway and then saw that assault rifle, I screamed and I thought I was going to die.
On a September 15th stream, she says,
So one of the last things that I want to address before I get into the actual policy proposal, people were trying to say this was not swatting because they did not do a dynamic entry, meaning they didn't break down the door and rush in, which I never said they did. They did not go into my apartment until after I was in custody and they had a search warrant signed.
But then they also say, Sorrenti also says,
And
this is her fiance Alex, or ex-fiance now, I guess.
Actually had to go inside the apartment, like in our front foyer, almost right to our bedroom door, and they yelled at Clara while she was in bed. So she got up. They were saying, Clara Sorrenti. Note that they did not use her dead name at this point either. They said, Clara Sorrenti, we know you're in there. Come out with your hands up. And she had been totally asleep. She got up and came out of the bedroom door frame. And at that point, she saw a rifle pointed at her. She had been awake for... She was woken by the barking orders of a police officer.
So it went from, I was woken up by London Police Services pointing an assault rifle at my face, to, well, I went into a hallway and saw an assault rifle, to, well, okay, they did the powerful knock, they pulled my fiance out, then they came in, then they shouted at my door, then I got up, I think she says in another video, she gets up, she puts on her PJs, and then she goes to the door. A little bit quite different from the original claim of, like, I woke up and I think there was an assault rifle in my face. There's another claim in this stream from Alex, Sorrenti's ex-fiance. I'm pretty sure she tweeted that they broke up. I think that was a tweet, right? Where Alex says that they saw lasers from rifles trained at the front door. When I mentioned this on stream...
And so, yes, I opened the door after they had banged on it. And as soon as I opened the door, they had bound it with a rope so it could only be opened a little bit, but I saw lasers from rifles trained on the front of the door.
I literally had 5+ law enforcement and I think 1 military guy email me and said that there is 0% chance that anybody would be using lasers in any daylight environment ever for any law enforcement. I don't know if that's true. I tried to source this. Somebody sent me pictures of the London, Ontario Police Force. There are no lasers on their rifles. I don't know how I would even begin to prove a claim like that. But the explanation I was given was that lasers are very rarely sometimes used in night operations for military, and they're going to be lasers that you can't see. They're only going to show up on like infrared or something. And the second thing would be that any laser that would work in the daytime would be so fucking bright that it would literally blind people. It'd be too much of a liability. I don't know if that's true or not. I didn't include it here because of that. I don't know how I could even verify that, but on the September 15th stream, Alex, our fiance, says another thing about this.
And so, yeah, someone did not wake her with a rifle pointed 3 inches from her face, but essentially as soon as she woke up...
So someone did not wake her with a rifle pointed 3 inches from her face. Right after, there's also a claim that they had a gun directly pointed at her within seconds of waking up, but that she also had time to put on some pajamas that were on the floor before she exited her bedroom. So that's where the claim was finally walked towards from the original claim of, I was woken up by London Police Services pointing an assault rifle at my face. Original claim. During the arrest, the police officer referred to me by my dead name. I was booked in the station under my dead name. The police, when talking to my mother, referred to me as her son.
During the arrest, the police officer referred to me by my dead name. I was booked in the station under my dead name. The police, when talking to my mother, referred to me as her son.
On the August 11th police statement, the chief said, at no time while she was in our holding cells did members of our police services address Miss Sorrenti by her dead name. On the September 15th stream, Alex, her fiance, says...
They actually had to go inside the apartment, like in our front foyer, almost right to our bedroom door, and they yelled at Clara while she was in bed. So she got up. They were saying, Clara Sorrenti... Note that they did not use her dead name at this point either. They said, Clara Sorrenti, we know you're in there. Come out with your hands up.
Alex says in the initial breach that they didn't use her dead name. Later on, Sorrenti would say...
The allegations as to how Miss Sorrenti was addressed during her time in London police custody, using an incorrect name, her dead name, and gender. It's important that he said, well, I cannot confirm any conversations which might have transpired during Miss Sorrenti's initial arrest. And that's when it happened. The activity in the holding cells is monitored. And I never made a statement about any bad things that happened while I was in custody. I would absolutely assume that when the police know that these things are being recorded and can be part of public record, they would be more careful with how they go about their business.
Notice the implication then, well, when they know they're being recorded, they're going to act properly. But Alex said earlier when they initially breached, they didn't use her dead name. Her original claim.
I was booked in the station under my dead name.
She says she was booked in her station under her dead name. Again, the police chief said, at no time while she was in our holding cells did members of our police services address Ms. Sorrenti by her dead name and gender.
The activity in the holding cells is monitored. And I never made a statement about any bad things that happened while I was in custody.
So she says that nothing bad happened while she was in custody, but she literally said,
I was booked in the station under my dead name.
The police, when talking to my mother, referred to me as her son.
This is despite the fact that I have run as both a member of parliament.
She said she was booked under her dead name. So I guess part of the confusion is, I don't know where she was actually dead named at, because Alex and her seem to agree that when the police initially breached, no dead name was used. And then when she was in holding, she said that, well, while I was in custody, no dead name was used. She wasn't booked under her dead name, I don't believe. So even though she's saying she was booked in the station under her dead name, she also says, I've never made any statements about bad things that happened while I was in custody. I don't know, kind of weird. Original claim.
The fact that a fake email led to London Police Services booking me under my dead name reveals the prejudice that many police have towards transgender people. This is despite the fact that the email contained my real name before ever even mentioning my dead name. This is one of the property bags returned to me after I was released from custody. All of the property bags returned to me have Roberts written on them. Roberts was my last name until...
So here's something that I don't know if I want to split hairs on this or not, because it just feels like people are going to like quibble over it. I don't know if I would consider an ex last name to be the same thing for a trans person as a dead name. I don't know if I'm buying that one. Typically, when we talk about trans people, a dead name usually refers to a prior first name that is highly gendered, that would have been gendered in a way that it was opposite of that person's sexual identity. So, and I didn't catch this until after I'd gone back and watched some of these videos, because obviously if you see a bag with evidence written on it, it's like, oh, that's pretty shitty. She's getting dead name. They're calling her Roberts. Roberts was not her first name. Roberts was her father's last name that she had until she changed her last name to her mother's last name, Sorrenti. Roberts was not her first name, dead name. I could not find any evidence anywhere ever, and she's welcome to dispute this, of anybody ever calling her or writing Lucas on anything. I couldn't find that information. So anytime she refers to her dead name, she's talking about them using her prior last name, not a prior male first name. I can't find any evidence that she was ever referred to as or dead named at any point, honestly, besides the evidence bags. But Sorrenti says, the only reason Roberts is on my property bag is because I was booked under my dead name. Police statement on August 11th. The reference to Ms. Sorrenti's former name appears to stem from the existence of prior police reports. When an individual comes into contact with the police for whatever reason, an entry is made into a records management system using the name provided at this time. Note, dead naming typically refers to using a prior name of a trans person has that is generally associated with their gender assigned at birth. Her former first name was not written on any evidence bags, and no evidence has been given that she was referred to as her prior first name. Original claim.
Because of the negligence of the police, we were both left functionally unemployed, and I have spent thousands of dollars replacing our computers and cell phones so our lives aren't completely destroyed by what happened. I started a GoFundMe to move immediately, recoup my losses, and build a legal fund to protect my rights.
So she originally claimed that she had spent thousands of dollars replacing her computers and cell phones. However, 3 days after the raid, here she is.
Officers seized computers and cell phones. Sorrenti says she was detained for 11 hours, then released without charge.
She got all of her stuff back a few days later. Everything. On September 7th, a message leaked from a conversation with her threatening to blackmail a Kiwifarms user, stating that, oh, and then here she says, my GoFundMe money is sitting in a savings account. Now she says that all of this is a troll, but On September 9th, she says,
I eventually got my stuff back in like 3 days and got an apology from the chief of police.
That's nice.
So, yeah, that was really nice. Not nice how they responded to the situation, but I'll take it.
And in a leaked series of Twitter circled tweets, Keffals reveals that she's using the money to travel around Europe and then returning to Canada after. These were, apparently you can make private tweets in your account that only your circle can see, but she accidentally had this up on stream. I cannot wait to get to my new apartment. I set up a studio. I'm staying in Ireland until the 27th. Then I'm heading to Spain until the 11th. I get my apartment on the 12th. I guess a nice European vacation, but I would also like to bring attention to the impossible level of detail that her fiancé Alex on their September 15th stream seems to give regarding her arrest, despite the fact that, by their own admission, they were outside of the apartment because they were forced to wait in the hallway while all of this was happening. This is like a little JCSing, but one of the things that when people give like a high level of detail about an event, it makes me sus sometimes. It's very strange that Alex is brought in basically to talk about, well, what did you see happen during my swatting, basically?
And so I had to wait in the hallway, and I knew immediately what this was about because it had happened only a few weeks prior in Toronto. And I tried to tell them this, but there was no conveying that. And so they went to go get Clara. And I told them, she's asleep right now. She sleeps like a bag of bricks. You know, you're not going to get her up.
So they were forced to wait out in the hallway. So keep in mind that Alex is out in the hallway the entire time that all of this is happening, okay?
They actually had to go inside the apartment, like in our front foyer, almost right to our bedroom door. And they yelled at Clara while she was in bed. So she got up. They were saying, Clara Sorrenti. Note that they did not use her dead name at this point either. They said, Clara Sorrenti, we know you're in there. Come out with your hands up. And totally asleep. She got up and came out of the bedroom door frame. And at that point, she saw a rifle pointed at her. She had been awake by the barking orders of a police officer. And at that point, she saw a rifle pointed at her. She had been awake she was woken by the barking orders of a police officer. Only had a gun pointed right at her. They were graceful enough to allow that.
Oh, I think this was the
pair of pajamas that was like on the floor before I could even go out to see the police officers.
They were graceful enough to allow that. But yes, they most certainly had a gun pointed right at her within seconds of getting up. Fully taken by surprise, and I knew she would be. And she screamed. And in that split second, I was like praying in my heart, please don't shoot her, because she was... You know, she jumped. She was making a sudden move. And I was like, please, no.
So just to reread these quotes, they actually had to go inside. Oh, and then also, if my stream gets taken down, I'll be back whenever. This is the same person that was trying to vandalize my Wikipedia article. I don't know if they got banned from Wikipedia or not. It was in Vosh's chat trying to spam report my stream. It's kind of funny that in the course of all of this, I kind of wanted to think about how I wanted to approach some of these people on Twitter. Keffals is actually using she has been banned from Twitter, so she can theoretically be reported for the same thing as me, but I decided against, I don't think I'm going to do any spam report shit, because fuck them. I don't think it's worth it. But yeah, apparently they're very, 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 very upset in Vaush's chat, so she's trying to lead the way because vandalizing my Wikipedia article wasn't enough. But yeah. Anyways, so rewinding back to this. So these were the statements that Alex made while he was in the hallway. They actually had to go inside the apartment, like in our front foyer, almost right to our bedroom door, and they yelled at Clara while she was in bed, so she got up. She had been totally asleep. She got up and came out of the bedroom door frame, and at that point she saw a rifle pointed at her. She was woken by the barking orders of a police officer. They most certainly had a gun pointed right at her within seconds of her getting up. She was totally taken by surprise, and I knew that she would be, and she screamed, and in that split second I was praying in my heart, please don't shoot her, because she was, she jumped. She was making a sudden movement, and I was like, please no, and I'm so thankful she's here today and that she wasn't hurt. How does Alex know how close they got to the bedroom door? How do they know that Sorrenti wasn't awoken by the pounding on the front door earlier or the commotion of the police entering the apartment? How do they know specifically what woke her up? How can they know if a rifle was pointed right at her? How can Alex possibly know that she jumped and made a sudden move if they were detained outside of the apartment in the hallway? This is clear evidence that they are reciting events as Sorrenti had previously dictated to them, rather than presenting their own eyewitness testimony that they were brought on to give. No evidence has ever been presented linking this swatting to Kiwifarms by neither Sorrenti nor any of the articles claiming them to be linked. This whole thing of Alex coming on and talking about things was really weird. It was like really obvious that he was just saying things that, or they, I don't know if it's probably they, them, that they were saying things that basically Keffals had already coached them through saying. Because how the fuck, if he's outside in the hallway, how is he saying things like, oh yeah, like I knew that she jumped immediately when they came in? How do you know that? You don't know that. You said you're out in the hallway. What are you talking about? The Northern Ireland swattings. After launching her successful GoFundMe, Sorrenti decided it was time to pack up and move to Northern Ireland. No journalist seemed to question the paradox of running to Belfast from a group of people that exists solely on the internet, but alas. Within 10 minutes of setting up and beginning her first stream on August 26th, Sorrenti announces the country she's in and that she's staying with a friend. This friend, Ellen, had already been doxxed months earlier on May 16th, so it was no surprise that Kiwifarms quickly figured out who she was living with and where she was. I think this is her first stream where she says...
So, I'm okay. I am currently in Ireland.
I don't know why she would say this. This is Ellen's docs being reposted, I think. I don't know why we even included a screenshot of this, but good job. On August 26th, Sorrenti's new docs is posted to website Zero, a website she is aware of but still is yet to mention. It's important to note that Kiwifarms will be down from August 26th to August 29th. A few days later, on August 29th, Sorrenti claimed that a Kiwifarms user had identified her location and threatened to show up the next morning, despite knowing the site had been down for the past 3 days. Hold on. She also claimed to have identified the user and forwarded their information to the police. If this is true, and she was able to identify this individual, then there is absolutely no reason for her to believe this individual had any association with Kiwifarms. In fact, she already knew he was from 4chan and the foodist stand community. She literally posted the 4chan thread in one of her tweets. This is further compounded by the fact that this user chose to post the note on 4chan on August 30th, when Kiwifarms was fully operational and could have posted it there instead. This is where she claims it was a Kiwifarms user who identified her location in Ireland and threatened to show up at her address at 9 a.m., et cetera, et cetera. The individual, this is the person, the Teddy person that was reported on by Jesse. But the individual who showed up and threatened Sorrenti's address is a foodist, someone who follows Foodist Zen, a grotesque YouTuber whose shtick is saying outrageous and defamatory things about people who have recently died. This user has been very active across 4chan and the rest of the internet on a variety of easily identifiable accounts, according to another investigation done by Jesse Single. This individual has also explicitly stated that they have no connections to Kiwifarms, although I guess it's hard to take anything they say seriously. We tried to do a lot of background digging. Apparently this person is common throughout like Discord communities, 4chan threads, but I couldn't find anything linking this person to they're not like a Kiwifarms poster or user. I couldn't find that anywhere. I don't know why that's even, well, I know why that's claimed, but Sorrenti would also claim on August 31st that the Northern Ireland police came to the apartment I'm staying at because someone attempted to swat me, although she notes that this time the police were very friendly. She would later talk about the same incident on September 2nd, claiming the same thing repeated itself, except Northern Irish police did not pull a firearm on me. Yesterday, as I was ending the stream to give updates on the Drop Kiwifarms campaign, this was posted online just outside my address. Shortly afterwards, Northern Ireland police came to my apartment I'm staying in because someone had attempted to swat me.
This followed me. Just, I leave Canada, now I'm in Northern Ireland. The same thing repeated itself.
Yep.
Except Northern Irish police did not pull a firearm on me. So that's cool. I appreciate that.
The police were more calm during this incident because Sorrenti was not swatted, nor was there an attempted swat. This was a lie. The person who originally contacted the police reached out to me to explain their frustration with Sorrenti's characterization of the event. Quote, I was the one that called the police to report who their stalker was, and they attended after that. I am also really fucking pissed off that they portrayed an act of genuine concern and kindness as an attempted murder. The expanded call is to redacted police station. Wait, hold on. The expanded call is to redacted police station where I spoke to the desk sergeant. During that 17 minutes, I tried to add information to an ongoing investigation as I had given Keffals time to report it themselves. I didn't speak to anyone actually investigating, and I reported that there was a threat that had been made. The Kiwifarms that contained Teddy's docs and the Kiwifarms page that contained his picture. At no point did I indicate that Keffals had committed a crime. However, it is likely that I had reported that someone had reported a threat against Keffals. What is happening over here? Jesus. Okay, sorry. The person also added, on the H3H3 podcast, Keffals said that the swatting had mentioned a stabbing, but that there were no guns when they visited.
Are the Irish police cooler about it?
Oh yeah, no, like someone called in saying that there was a stabbing in the apartment I'm in, and they just sent 2 police officers and they were knocking at the door. Like, compared to what happened in Canada when I got like an assault rifle pointed at me, that's nothing. Cops are playing with the cat here.
On the H3H3 podcast, Keffals said that the swatting had mentioned a stabbing, but that there were no guns when they visited. This link shows the armed response unit, which is deployed for when someone reports a stabbing, an active situation. Here's a link to what police do when an actual, like, I wouldn't say swat, but when a real threat is called in Northern Ireland. This is how the police typically show up. There's a picture there that shows a dynamic entry. Someone with Ellen's background wouldn't realize that Northern Ireland does actually have a history of armed violence and that the PSNI response to that violence is equivalent to the USA. The evidence strongly supports that the story Keffals gave on the H3H3 podcast about being swatted here is utter horseshit. I had this person told me a lot more that is kind of personal I won't include here, and then I had a second Irish person email me that was very, very, very pissed off. Both of these people were, because Northern Ireland has a large history of a lot of violence, and the idea that police show up and just kind of like play with your cat and hug you and everybody's nice and peaceful, both people were pushed back against that adamantly, that they were super, super, super upset that that was the impression given about how Northern Irish police show up in response to threats, because it's that country does have a history of violence and police don't fuck around with that. This is an interesting email I got though. I feel pretty comfortable that I was able to verify. They showed me a picture, or I got a map of where they live. They showed me like the call log of them calling the police, and they described everything. It seemed to line up pretty well. I'm not going to release this person's personal information, but Sorrenti has given multiple versions of events concerning the attempted swatting of her apartment in London, Ontario. The initial version paints the police force as reckless and transphobic, but later clarifications paint them in a much softer light, with none of the initial accusations of transphobia being verified. There was never any proof linking the initial swatting to Kiwifarms. Sorrenti has lied about at least one swatting incident in Northern Ireland and painted the visitor who held the sign in a knowingly false light. She was aware of who the individual was, referencing his Twitter account and even possibly reporting his Discord server. There was plenty of proof to the contrary that the visitor in Northern Ireland on August 29th who posted the photo outside of Sorrenti's apartment had nothing to do with Kiwifarms. Even the, oh God, there's just so much like random shit. Even that original sign that person had held, this on 4chan, oh fuck, it's not gonna. It says, I think it says Kiwifarms all trunes. Even that phrase is, it's actually coded language, for KAT is the abbreviation, which actually means, I think it's kill all Taigs, Taigs. This particular person is like a loyalist, and it refers to, it's like a tag, I think, is a slur against Catholics in Northern Ireland. I don't remember if Jesse covered this in his thing or not, or if this is other stuff that I read, but Jesus. Is there any way I can get someone to permanently ban from a chat? I'm begging you and all mods, please ban me from this community. I do not wish to participate anymore, but the YouTube algorithm keeps showing this in my face. What? Daniel Brockman, are you okay, buddy? But anyway, yeah, Jesus. Is this a guy that's single interviewed? I believe so, yes. Ugh. Part 5, the GoFundMe heist. It's been mentioned a bit so far, but it's worth going into the details surrounding Sorrenti's GoFundMe. Many of the claims surrounding the purpose of the funds raised from the GoFundMe are exaggerated in an effort to raise as much money as possible. This is especially egregious given that Sorrenti has bragged about how much money she makes and given how much financial support is needed for at-risk members of the trans community. This is her. Winter, I don't know how much money you think I make, but I was going to make 6 figures this year before the GoFundMe happened. The original GoFundMe's goal was $20,000, though she continues to raise the goal as more and more money has been raised, despite the fact that GoFundMe allows you to raise more money than the original goal. This was them raising the goal every time it like approached its cap. You can see the bumping it up over and 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 over again. I don't know why they didn't just leave it at 20K and let it go over. Well, I know why. It's because she was constantly trying to raise as much money as possible. While she would be fastidious about increasing the goal every time the previous one was hit, she would never add any further clarification to some of the demonstrably false claims made in the initial video, nor would she adequately justify the progressive increase of the goal. Sorrenti claimed that they started a GoFundMe to 1, move immediately, 2, recoup her losses, and 3, build a legal fund to protect her rights. I link again the entire GoFundMe video. I've got multiple links inside. I don't think I need to revisit these, but Sorrenti claims that the police dead-named her several times during her arrest and when booking her, though she and her partner Alex would go on to make claims contradicting both of these statements later in a September 15th stream, as well as an official statement released by the police chief claiming that Sorrenti was never dead-named once in custody. Sorrenti claimed that the incident reveals the prejudice that many police have towards transgender people, despite them initially confronting her, using her given name, and apparently never using her dead name while she was in custody. There is no evidence that police used her pre-transition first name, which is what most commonly is referred to as a dead name. The only evidence Sorrenti has ever posted are evidence bags showing her previous last name. Sorrenti claims that because of the negligence of the police, her and her fiancé were both left functionally unemployed, and that she has spent thousands of dollars replacing their computers and cell phones.
Because of the negligence of the police, we were both left functionally unemployed, and I have spent thousands of dollars replacing our computers and cell phones, so our lives aren't completely destroyed by what happened to us.
She has never posted proof of repurchasing any cell phones or computers. Her phones and computers were returned to her in 3 days as well. She suffered no losses, yet never updated the GoFundMe to reflect this. In a leaked conversation, Sorrenti admitted to keeping the money she'd raised in her savings account until she needs to use it. And she publicly stated that she will never do a GoFundMe breakdown for bad faith actors. It's also been leaked from her Twitter messages that she is currently vacationing around Europe. I will never do a GoFundMe breakdown for bad faith actors who neither support me nor contributed to the fund in the first place. Everyone who donated to the GoFundMe has a refund button that they could choose to use at any point but have not. Concern trolling me over this is so lame. We already saw this. On an August 10th stream, when speaking about why she is continually raising the goal of the GoFundMe, she reaffirms that... We'll just listen to all of this.
People have been really questioning, mostly bad faith people. I haven't seen a lot of people do this in good faith, but I've had a lot of people questioning my GoFundMe fundraiser. So, here it is. It's currently at $74,000. And people kept asking me why I'm raising the goal when it hits the goal. And the reason why is because yes, I'm using these funds to move. But more importantly, once I'm safe, the rest of those funds are going to be used for legal expenses. Because I'm not just moving. I'm also taking legal action. I already have one lawyer, and I'm consulting with 2 more. I'm going to get justice for what happened to me. And for every other marginalized person in this country who has been victimized. Legal fees are incredibly expensive. And I feel very fortunate that I was able to raise this much money, because I would not be able to take legal action if it wasn't for that.
Let me reread. Once I'm safe, the rest of those funds are going to be used for legal expenses, because I'm not just moving, I'm also taking legal action. I already have one lawyer and I'm consulting with 2 more. I'm going to get justice for what happened to me and for every other marginalized person in this country who's been victimized. Legal fees are incredibly expensive, and I feel very fortunate that I was able to raise this much money, because I would not be able to take legal action if it wasn't for that. Note that this is not a reasonable explanation for the continual raising of the goal. The goal moved up as the money was coming in and was never set at the amount that she would need to cover such legal expenses. The goal seems to always track the money in rather than any fixed cost. At this point, the GoFundMe had raised about $74,300. However, on August 21st, she was more careful with her language, stating this time,
I love that they...
Why? Yo, Vim, why do we have 20 seconds of dead silence at the start of the clip?
I love that they say this shit as if the cops never pointed a gun at Keffals. How do you know? Because they think that nothing I say could ever be true. So as soon as the cops said something that was ambiguous because it was a PR statement and not actually what happened, they were like, okay, I guess this never happened.
Oh my God, I have to speed her up.
So sorry they had this one at you. They should. I've basically had to make peace with it. Like, after it first happened, I was very mad at the police. And I wanted to hold their feet to the fire as much as possible. I wanted to even potentially pursue legal action against them.
Potentially pursue legal action.
But they've taken the threat against my life very seriously. And I want to see justice. There's a lot of leads right now, and they might actually be able to catch the person who swatted me. And with what is going on and the connections to Kiwifarms, knowing that they're monitoring the thread, we might actually see something happen. They were trying to dox the police chief the other day. Like, I don't know why they thought that they could do that. I saw, it's really funny.
So now she says she wanted to even potentially pursue legal action against them, but they've taken the threat against her life very seriously, casting doubt on whether she'd pursue legal action against them. And then finally, on September 14th...
So, as you all know, I raised $100,000. I did it after I got swatted. People were so gracious, they came together and they helped me out. And while I really respect it, it's brought a lot of people to do the QAnon brain bullshit about me, where they're saying I'm stealing money from my fans, and they say that this GoFundMe goes against the TOS. So the thing that they say with this is that I said that this money was for suing the police, which I never did. If you read the full thing, because I know this is going to be viewed somewhere else, so I'm getting out of the way, then we go to the next thing. I keep raising it. The reason that I did that in the first place was...
So now she says, the thing they say with this is that I said the money was for suing the police, which I never did. She also claims that she wanted to raise, she says this later in that video, we won't watch the whole 3-minute thing, but she also claims she wanted to raise $100,000 from the very beginning. So she kept raising the cap until she got there, and then she's also claimed that she simply just wanted to raise as much money as possible. She goes on to claim that she's used the GoFundMe money to pay an entire year's worth of rent.
Raised of a $95,000 goal, and when I looked at this yesterday, I'm pretty sure the goal was still at $90,000. I might have get that wrong.
So it's going up and up.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they just keep shifting it further and further so they can just keep trying to raise as much money as possible. One of the...
Yes. Problem?
Yeah, she basically goes on to say that she used, she basically paid off 12 months rent in an apartment in Canada, which also doesn't make sense because if you're trying to run from doxers, why would you pay 12 months rent in advance? Now, if you get doxed at your new apartment, you're locked there for a year. What? So let's review from her original claim. Number 1, move immediately. She used the money to pay for 12 months rent in advance, but rather than move immediately, she seems to have taken a vacation around Europe. Some of the people that she stayed with were people that were already doxed. If you just raised all this money to hide from people, why are you moving in with people that are already doxed? Why are you moving with anybody at all? What's all the money for? Number 2, recoup her losses. There were no financial damages to recoup. She got everything back in 3 days. Everything came back in 3 days. What are the financial damages? Number 3, build a legal fund to protect her rights. Sorrenti is now claiming that she is not going to sue the police. What is the legal fund? What are the rights being protected? Is it just money that sits in an account forever for a lawyer? According to GoFundMe's fraudulent campaign policy, examples of expressly forbidden fraudulent activity include posting misleading statements in the fundraiser story. It's up for them to decide if anything thus far is misleading, though the answer seems obvious. Whew. Okay. Take a minute, take a stretch. This next section, things start to get pretty wild. This is the one they're trying to take us out for, boys. Whoa! Yikes! We learned a lot of things about the internet in part of this next section. Section 6. Bathtub hormones and spy games. Sorrenti and Chloe at Bob Posting on Twitter have worked together to promote the Do-It-Yourself Hormone Replacement Therapy Directory, a wiki that has been the subject to much mystery and controversy over the past few months. There have been many claims made about improper behavior and questionable services offered by the Do-It-Yourself HRT directory. After some thorough investigation, I'm able to offer a bit more insight into some of the problems that exist with this service. Before I dive too deeply into this, however, I would like to reaffirm that I am a strong believer in making safe access to hormones and other appropriate medical interventions available to trans people who need them, including minors. We must be cautious, however, when we allow questionable individuals with shady histories and deceitful messaging to be the people illicitly offering these treatments online, especially when it may harm the minors in question. Firstly, it's important to recognize that Sorrenti was a big supporter of the DIY HRT directory. Sorrenti began supporting the directory in June 26th of 2022, tweeting that she is donating thousands of dollars a year to the website so people can access hormone replacement therapy before the age of 18. And follows it with another tweet saying that she will never back down. Chloe acknowledges and thanks Sorrenti for the sponsorship. I am donating thousands of dollars a year to a resource so people affected by hysterical anti-trans laws can access hormone replacement therapy before the age of 18. I do not give a single shit what you think. I am doing nothing wrong, nor will I ever back down. If you guys are wondering why she did back down a few days ago, you're about to find out why. Wow. Thank you, Keffals, for your support for our project. Me and the team give our thanks. On a September 14th stream, she says that she stands by supporting the DIY HRT directory, compares it to AOC supporting abortion drugs.
I'm glad how well this went because I stand by supporting the DIY HRT directory. Just like in the same way that AOC decided to back a resource for abortion pills after Roe v. Wade happened, it's like literally the same thing. Literally the same thing. When the state steps in and says this piece of healthcare is illegal, the community should absolutely step up and find a way to provide that. I'm glad how well this went because
Up until September 19th, Sorrenti had a link to the DIY HRT directory on her website at keffals.gg with an accompanying chat command to promote the website. You can see it on the site, DIY HRT. It was right up here. You could type in chat as well. Oh, Annie, hey, the same person that's trying to spam report my stream. Interesting. Is also in here linking it. But you can see lots of links being posted to it. Added the command !DIY with replies to all the information you need to be informed on DIY, hormone replacement therapy, Keffals trans, blah, blah, blah. And then there it is. I believe that we checked, and I think that the... Did she use your open source website too? Of course she did. I believe that that link is still available today, although they might have taken it down within the past couple hours. But we checked it, I think, yesterday or the day before, and it was still working. As a final side note, Sorrenti and Chloe have a long history of friendship with one another. These people have, this is just like, this is the tip of the iceberg. These people interact with each other a ton, and we'll see later that they are close friends. On September 9th, Sorrenti was invited as a guest on the H3H3 podcast and was questioned about the DIY HRT directory. She was incredibly evasive during the interview, too nervous to offer up much information unless directly asked, and ended up telling a couple of embarrassing lies about the site itself. The original claim, Ethan asks Sorrenti where they do the DIY HRT directory promotion. Sorrenti claims it's just a Twitch stream open and in the public.
I mean, some of them do actually have the support of their families, but some of them don't. Like, some of them are in like really fundamentalist Christian households, and
Right.
the only place they really feel safe talking about being trans is on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And so where do you guys do this? Is it like a Discord or something, or like a community?
Oh, it's like a Twitch stream.
Oh, just on Twitch?
Yeah.
So it's all just out in the public?
Yeah.
Because they make me it sound like you have some kind of secret or some community spot that's not publicly seen where you're talking with kids and stuff, but that's not even the case.
No.
A few minutes later.
I want to give you an opportunity to talk about this because there's people who are pointing this out, that on your website, keffals.gg, you have a link here that says do it DIY HRT.
Yeah. So it's a website where people can learn about DIY hormones. Basically, I mean, some...
Later on in that same show, she's pushed to admit that there is a separate directory she links to from her own website. I don't believe she ever brings up any of the locked rooms in her Discord as well. I don't think we included that in here, but... The original claim, Ethan asks about homemade hormones.
And then they also say, I guess one of their problems is that you are supporting young people, young trans people who didn't have access to hormones. You are telling them how to make homemade hormones.
Oh my God. No, I don't know how to make homemade hormones. I noticed the new thing is they're saying that I'm teaching people how to make hormones in their bathtub, which just sounds insane.
While it sounds like an extreme claim, Chloe, one of the co-founders of the site, has actually given tips on brewing testosterone and estrogen in a bathtub, as well as making several jokes and references to doing so. She's also referenced minors and pink pilling, the act of convincing someone they're trans, on multiple occasions as well. These are a lot of old posts by her on Twitter and in Discord. Transphobic parents, doesn't provide child opportunities to get on legit HRT. Surprised that the child is self-medicating. Chloe, pink pilling minors is based, actually, if they reach out and express a desire for HRT. Chloe, I have unironically pink pilled like half a dozen minors. And by pink pill, I mean pointing them to HRT resources after they reach out. Best case against do-it-yourself are the people against DIY who don't know that T is literally a steroid. No one tell him I've helped more than one minor or ... Pretend to be me in the replies. I just got a triple-digit number of people access to necessarily medical care last weekend. This is just true, though. Was I supposed to say something like, I groomed a Discord full of minors into being trans and sold them bathtub estrogen laced with meth? This is also true. Random weird things. I will pay someone to do my estrogen shot. Somebody asks this question of, when making bathtub tea or E as well, what are the best ways to make sure it doesn't get contaminated from my tub? Flow hood, deprogenation, depyrogenation, microfiltration, etc. Here's a list of bathtub estrogen collage, different chemicals that they ordered to mix and stuff. We'll get more into this later, though, okay? You mean you inject estrogen cooked up in some depressed trans girl's bathtub directly into your carotid every other day? Yes. Point of view, your bathtub estrogen dealer is here to force fem you, etc., etc. I don't groom children. I just show dozens of kids every week how to buy bathtub estrogen with cryptocurrency and how to hide it from their parents. What are you talking about? It's okay. I've unironically helped like half a dozen minors acquire bathtub estrogen LeMayo. DM Chloe immediately to order bathtub estrogen from her cool friends and clown on endocrinologists. We'll get more into that. Maybe it's just memes. If Sorrenti has gone on the record claiming that she supports the directory and supports minors using it to acquire hormones, why was she so dodgy during the interview? A website offering medical guidance to minors or linking to people offering to ship them illegally manufactured and obtained drugs deserves far more scrutiny than Ethan was willing to provide. Things get even more strange when you examine the directory's ties to Otokonoko Pharma and Alina Kiev. We'll get into this. On September 13th, 2022, a user on my subreddit, Mr. White Raven, made a subreddit post criticizing Sorrenti and the DIY HRT directory. The poster was able to provide a screenshot of a bathtub HRT guide, though he doesn't link to it or explain how he was able to find it in his post. After some investigation, my team managed to track down the exact guide the poster was referring to. It was written by a user who goes by the online alias Neurotard. This guide originates from two posts that Neurotard created on 4chan on April 18th, 2020 to promote their website. This guide gives explicit instructions for how to brew your own hormones, including sourcing all of the supplies from various sites on the internet, as well as how to actually manufacture your own hormone solutions for injection. So this is one of those guides. It talks about the different injections you need, different suspensions, the materials, how to cook all of the materials and everything, the process by doing it all. You can also email them if you want them to ship you their own stuff that they've brewed themselves, but there are no longer any public links to any particular guide on the DIY HRT directory, and the paste was created long enough ago to have the old Otokonoko Pharmaceuticals website I'm sorry. Give me a second. Okay. There are no longer any public links to this particular guide in the DIY HRT directory, and the paste was created long enough ago to have the old Otokonoko, I think that's right, Pharmaceuticals website. Through some more investigation, hold on. Sorry, I'm getting... Yeah, okay. Sorry, let me restart this paragraph. There are no longer any public links to this particular guide on the DIY HRT website, and the paste was created long enough ago to have the old Otokonoko Pharmaceuticals website on it. It's listing an old site for an outdated URL. Through some more investigation, however, we would determine that this link to this site is still being given out. Firstly, the creator Neurotard is still active on GitHub as of September of 2022, and this is exclusively the type of content they engage with. Secondly, we were able to find a random GitHub account, Rexicide, that was created on October 26th of 2021. This account has starred or favorited the repository on GitHub after all public links to the guide were already taken down from the public-facing DIY HRT directory. Therefore, this guide to brew your own hormones must still be sent out privately in DMs, probably after a purchase is made on the Otokonoko Pharma website. Okay, still going. Hold on. This will be relevant in 2 seconds. I'm sorry, guys. After creating a dummy account for the Otokonoko Pharma site, we noticed a download section, which could be a place where the guide is distributed after making a purchase. We've also managed to track down multiple old 4chan posts, as well as a deleted Reddit thread where the link was being given out by anonymous users and the author themselves. Analyzing all of these submissions is how we were able to determine that Neurotard, aka GC146, Lil__Lily, Yukinog GC or whatever, and Lillian, founder and current owner of Otokono Pharma, is the one distributing the link. Neurotard has confirmed they're from Brazil, has made posts about learning DIY HRT, and written a guide on it as well. Their legal info also lines up with Otokonoko Pharma CNPG, the Brazilian National Registry of Legal Entities. It's also worth noting that Otokonoko Pharma is illegally registered as a retail seller of food products and does not have a license from Anvisa, the Brazilian Health Regulatory Agency, to sell products intended for therapeutic or medicinal purposes. We decided to further investigate the Lena Kiev site listed on the DIY HRT directory, which led us right to another Bathtub HRT guide. Lena had already written a DIY guide years ago, with a better formatted version being distributed in 2022 on 4chan. These sites have clear instructions for making hormones from scratch in your home and have material sourcing directly linked. The guide was also linked at least once in Sorrenti's Discord, although many channels are locked down, making it hard to know how many times it's been linked privately. It's also interesting to note that they link to a guide giving step-by-step instructions on how to cook your own mixes while simultaneously advising you to ignore some of the dosing guidelines by the guide's author, Lena. After discovering at least 2 guides posted on the DIY HRT directory in regards to brewing your own hormones, one must ask, why has Sorrenti continually misrepresented the information present on the wiki, especially when Chloe herself claims to personally know all of the providers on the directory? This is where you can click through. Maybe you can download once you buy things from the site, although we didn't actually buy anything, but damn, archives are laggy today. This was another do-it-yourself hormone replacement therapy guide. This talks about, like, I'm not going to pretend to use chemistry words to know what, but like how to mix the solutions in sealed vials and water boiling in a pressure cooker under pressure. Basically how to like mix and create your own hormones and then for injection and everything. These are all of the, this is the HRT directory that basically tells you like where to buy everything from, like how to get all the materials and everything for mixing and injecting. I never imagined to see Lena in a Destiny stream. Favy, what a weird dive down a 4chan Reddit hole all of this investigation was. How to cook your own injectable estradiol by yourself. There is the DIY HRT directory posted above, but as a side note for purely educational purposes, here's a fun chemistry experiment that you can try. This was linked in Keffals' Discord. But unfortunately, as you'll find out, once we started doing investigations, they started locking down and changing around the structure of a lot of their stuff. This is a really old YouTube video with Chloe in it, where she talks about knowing everybody on her guide. Oh, fuck, this is so fucking loud. Why do you guys make the worst clips for me?
All the homebrew suppliers that, you know, I've listed, they're all people that I've like personally talked to, emailed or DM'd, and I know a lot about their safety methods and whatnot.
Now, before we get into the weird thing, so Chloe has messaged me and said, I've literally never linked to that guide on my site. What are you doing? I was never even aware that Homebrew Guide existed, bro. I've never linked it on my site. Look through the archives. Why didn't you just ask me about this instead? I could have answered all your questions. What are you doing? I've literally never linked this guide on my site. I literally discourage homebrewing from anyone that's asked me about it. Now, that's what they've said. We're getting into weirder stuff now, okay? Very fucking annoying stuff, but part of the reason why all of this kind of had to be underground. On September 14th, the day after the subreddit post goes up about Otokonoko Pharma, the DIY HRT directory silently delists the Otokonoko Pharma and Lena Kiev site from the wiki. I believe we're tracking everything on their Git. So you can see on the Git that they delete this and they delete this. No announcement is made. And then if you go to the thing, you can see the before and after where homebrew sourcing, it used to be listed down here, the Otokonoko one, and I think the Leave one as well. Yes, both of these were listed, and then both of these were taken down. So I don't know why Chloe is messaging me right now saying she's never linked to any of this stuff or supported any of this before, but well, I do know why, and we'll get to that. That very same day, Sorrenti admits to browsing my subreddit for posts about herself, making it clear that they are monitoring my community to determine their next moves.
I was looking for this thread that got posted on r/Destiny. It was like a Keffals groomer mega thread, because r/Destiny is basically Kiwifarms when Kiwifarms is offline, which makes sense considering Destiny is a Kiwifarms user.
On September 15th, the DIY HRT directory was updated once more. 2 crucial updates are added this time. Number 1, a web crawler check is added to the website to keep track of links that my team and I are archiving on archive.org. So they added a web crawler, and they're starting to monitor every single thing that we're linking on the archive.org website. From this point onward, it's clear to my team and me that they are working in the background to bring down questionable websites /git/tweets based on what we're investigating. Number 2, an age warning is added to the DIY HRT directory after seeing we'd archived many links relating to their activities and DIY hormone guides on the internet. So if you go to that website today, now there's an age gate, or an age link saying that you need to be 18 or older. This is incredibly strange, given how much Sorrenti and Chloe have explicitly advocated for this site to be used by minors. I don't know if I need to go through and click like every single one of these different things. These are some of the Chloe things of like pink pilling people. You have anti-trans things before the age of 18. Oh God, this is one of the boxes that come from that Otokonoko Pharma site, keep out of reach of parents. This whole website is so fucking weird. It's also strange to add an age disclaimer when she's claimed that the website is simply an information guide. Why would there need to be an information? Like,
yeah, another thing to state, the DIY HRT directory does not provide hormones. It doesn't provide anything. They have no resources. It's literally a website filled with links to other sites. They do nothing. It's literally like a Wikipedia page. Just an information guide.
Within the next week, they would remove more language from the website advising minors to seek adults who can purchase Bitcoin for them. Here are other sneaky unannounced edits that they've done. So you can see the language here. If you're a minor, get a trusted adult to purchase the Bitcoin for you or go to your local Bitcoin ATM. That language was changed too. If you're unable to, get a trusted friend to purchase the Bitcoin for you or go to your local Bitcoin ATM. You can see that they changed around some of the language here to get rid of the references to minors. All of this started happening after they noticed that we were archiving stuff on the archive website, by the way. On September 17th, 2022, Chloe reached out to me in DMs after seeing our activity on archive.org in an attempt to limit the information shown in this document. She also connected me with Sorrenti herself, and for the first time ever, I had a direct conversation with her in which she implored me not to release any additional information about her, subtly remarking that it would be incredibly damaging for both of us and would likely cost my YouTube channel in the process. So this was Chloe reaching out to me in DMs. All of me and my whole team are talking, and we know what's going on when she's reaching out here. But basically, I just wanted to ask you not to mention my docs at all. The fact that I got docs in your Keffals Manifesto, if that's possible. I go back and forth, and we chat for a little bit. And towards the end of this conversation, she basically mentions from Keffals, she says, "Oh, I remembered one more thing. Keffals has unironically and genuinely offered that if you never speak or tweet about her again, that she will do the same for you. For what it's worth, I do think she's being genuine. I don't know if I believe that one, matey." Here's a text between the two of them. "Wait, Oh, and then I think she'd posted one image and deleted it. I saved it. There was nothing extra juicy in that. And she says, I think she's unironically tired with all the drama. Surprising, I know, and wants to go back to boring regular streams. But like, you and I know it's very hard to avoid engaging when people poke at her. Yeah, I mean, it's similar on my end, and obviously she's got the check marks on her end, and I'm fighting an uphill battle. I was starting to dig through the Kiwifarms shit, but going through archives and piecing together stories, I honestly zoned the fuck out so hard because it's all such a clusterfuck of shit. At the very least, I think I have to respond to the manifesto/Google Doc she dropped on me, though. It's so messy. I don't know how everything got this big, LeMayo. Unless she publicly retracts, I'll let her know. Bro, no leakies, but honestly, I regret letting her sponsor the DIY site. No amount of money is worth what I'm dealing with now. And then I said, yeah, I can imagine. I'm surprised it hasn't been spam DDoSed and shit by KFers or other actors yet, though they might actually try to hold their own shit up and they want blah, 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 blah. And then Keffals reaches out to me. She friend adds me. Hi, Steven. I thought it'd be good to keep an open line of communication. I want to make it clear, I didn't add you to antagonize you. I'm not heavily invested in fighting with you, nor is it something I particularly enjoy. I would rather be doing things I find more fulfilling on a personal level, and I'm sure you feel the same. Chloe just told me about your conversation, and I wanted to have a way to contact you in case it was ever pertinent to do so. Yeah, sure, I understand. I'm a bit worried about the back and forth means it will end up going on for months more. I feel a bit like I kind of have to respond to your Google Doc about me yesterday, and I'm sure you'll want me to respond to the response, etc. Or I'm sure you'll want to respond to the response, etc. Although seriously, yeah, it would probably be a good idea to move on from these fights. The Google Doc isn't new. It's just the resource folder from the 7-hour stream I did 2 months ago. One fear I have is that ever since the swatting incident, I have a lot of MSM backing and dozens of journalists follow me now. If we both continue down this road, there's a chance journalists will start to pick it up and make it enter into a news cycle. I don't think either of us wants that. It would be incredibly messy and have repercussions for both of us. Okay, I'll consider it. If I make a response, it might just be me giving context to / disagreeing with some of the screenshots, and I'll make sure August doesn't make a video about it. I was planning to release my reaction to your Twitter ban as a video in the next couple days, but my reach outside Twitter is pretty minimal. I can scrap the video if it helps build trust between us. I've heard what you think about my intentions, but I want you to know that my intent towards you was never malicious. The truth is, I felt threatened because our initial interactions led to me getting posted in your KF thread and consequently getting my own thread. When you explicitly mentioned my KF thread in your manifesto, I was scared it would add fuel to the fire. You don't like me, your community hates me, and there is more than likely at least one schizo in your community who would retaliate using my docs regardless if you try to rein people in or not. When you started talking about doing a second manifesto stream and it alluded to my Website Zero paste, I was scared. Website Zero users aren't stupid like Kiwifarms users. They simply post the docs and are smart enough to know how to hack accounts, collect info from data breaches, and use social engineering to get the information they need. She knew about that website the entire time, but she never told you guys because she wanted to pin everything on Kiwifarms because that's what her crusade was against, because that's where the fame and fortune and media attention was. It wasn't on this other website that is a bit more scary than Kiwifarms. Website Zero retaliated against me when I started the campaign to get Cloudflare to drop Kiwifarms, and they did a more comprehensive docs of my family and friends than Kiwifarms ever did. But still, she's never, ever, ever mentioned it publicly. I'm glad you're reasonable. You're a really smart guy. I never doubted that about you. You obviously see how we both have the potential to lose control over the situation if it goes mainstream. If this situation ended up as a news cycle, it would put my friends and family at risk, and at worst, it could result in your YouTube channel getting terminated. I'm glad you agree with me that both of us walking away is the best course of action. I don't want to see either of us eat shit because of this. Okay, gotcha, makes sense. I'll think about it more from my POV, but I'm pretty content to probably just leave everything where it is. Even in the best case where my doc destroys you, it means every single person in my corner is a deranged transphobe /doxer /harasser /Nazi etc. who's going to end up causing me more trouble than the positive exposure on any doc would ever get me regardless. For the first time, I had a direct conversation with Keffals in which she implored me not to release any additional information about her, subtly remarking that it would be incredibly damaging for both of us and would likely cost my YouTube channel in the process. The very same night, Joe Sickins, the Psychonaut Wiki founder, reached out to me claiming that she and someone else initially started the DIY HRT directory. Yo, I'm very tangentially involved in the DIY HRT wiki stuff. They got a sponsor from Keffals of all people, and I've heard you're dropping some sort of content related to her soon. Is there anything I should be aware of? Does the DIY HRT wiki stuff feature in it to any extent? I have no idea at the moment. I started that website with my ex-GF, then a community member, blah, blah, blah. Now there's a Kiwifarms thread on it. Here I leak a little bit of information. Gee, wait, which person took it over? Chloe? And wait, who is your ex-girlfriend? I'm so confused. I feel like so many worlds are colliding, LOL. What was the original domain of the site? So I'm trying to get info from her, and I think she's trying to get info from me. I have no idea who Chloe is. I think it's DIYHRT.wiki. If you could just not stress that in whatever content you're dropping to whatever degree you can, I would greatly appreciate it. For what it's worth, I agree with all your takes on trans issues and really appreciate your voice of sanity in the space. Yeah, I won't leak anything or anything. I won't leak anything or anything related to your stuff. Just trying to make sure I don't include you if you don't want to be included. Oh, fuck, I deleted this message to try to make it look like I was hiding something. But at some point, I think I messaged and I'm like, you're not related to like the Lillian bathtub hormone or bathtub cauldron, I think it was called, or Leela's bathtub cauldron. It was something like that. And she's like, I have no idea who Lillian is. Just minutes after leaking one of Neurotard's AKAs to her, the DIYHRT GitHub repo is brought offline in order to hide any future changes to the website. So they delist the GitHub repo for their website so that we can't track changes on it anymore. So the project is no longer open source. Future snaps of the site are also blacklisted from appearing on archive.org, something only possible if requested by the owner of the domain. It's really funny because I think it was either, I don't want to get this wrong, it was either them or Cyber Vegan suggested we should start taking snapshots of the snapshots because they're probably going to blacklist their domain, and that's absolutely what they do. So added to the DIYHRT Git, they say, this is evidence that I own DIYHRT.wiki and DIYHRT.github.io. It is my request to have these sites removed from the Wayback Machine as per my email, trying to bring all evidence and all past archived stuff of this website offline and off of all the internet archives. And now when you check the Wayback Machine or any archiving sites, you cannot list or go back and see snapshots of the DIYHRT website. If the website was merely a wiki listing other resources, as Sorrenti claimed, why so much secrecy surrounding the GitHub and the website? Why would they begin to track our archiving movements, and why would they take things down? 2 days later, on September 19th, Chloe tweets that harassment has forced her to shut down her Twitter and step away from the DIYHRT directory. In the very same thread, she claims that Sorrenti has absolutely nothing to do with the decisions and had no input on anything relating to the website. This seems suspect given the level of coordination publicly and behind the scenes between Chloe and Sorrenti. But even if that was the case, that is no excuse for sponsoring the directory. It is the responsibility of Sorrenti to do her due diligence before sponsoring or endorsing any entity, particularly when it comes to something so intimately tied to the health and safety of minors. So this was 2 days after the 3 people tried to message me to drop our investigation. Recently, I've been receiving a significant ramp up in the harassment I've been facing. The situation has escalated beyond what I'm able to deal with. I will be shutting down my Twitter and I will no longer be involved in the DIYHRT directory. Me and the whole current team of people who have developed it so far will no longer be contributing in any capacity to the site. Ownership of the site will be transferred to a new owner within the next few days. On a final note, just to be clear, Keffals has never had any say in the development of the site beyond the design of the sponsorship banner and how it would be run. Any changes made to the site were decisions made by our team only. Immediately after, the DIYHRT directory link is removed from Sorrenti's website, but the chat command was kept, and I believe that it's still there today, although they might have taken it off today. On September 20th, Sorrenti spoke of the site on her stream, claiming the harassment after the H3H3 podcast was too much for Chloe to bear. She then explains that she no longer will be publicly involved with the DIYHRT directory because she's too high profile and will direct too much harassment towards the site, a strange thing to say after comparing herself to AOC supporting abortion drugs.
Oh, any word on the DIYHRT directory? Okay, yeah, I can talk about that. Like, I'm sure you all heard Chloe Bob posting, who was like very involved in the DIYHRT directory, has decided to leave the internet, and also we came to a decision mutually that I'm no longer sponsoring the DIY.
Why is the voice pitch shifted? It shouldn't be. I don't know if there's a glitch in the audio or what, but nothing should be pitch shifted.
HRT directory is going to be switching to new ownership. So when I initially sponsored them, it's because they were running on like a really shoestring budget. Like they had no money. And I wanted to use some of the funds that I was getting from my Twitch stream kind of like popping off and
it might be the oh, apparently the VOD was fucked. Somebody said this. Way to go, Vim.
To support them because I think they do great work. I think it's a very
no, this VOD was super fucked. We had to go to like very strange things. We had to start downloading and archiving everything when we noticed they were starting to delete shit. So some of our evidence, I guess maybe this particular VOD was fucked and we couldn't go back to the original anymore because everything was being like brought offline, I think.
Valuable resource.
But this was her talking about the harassment Claire received and why she was bringing it down, and then
could I make my own directory? No, I can't. Like, the problem with me is that my profile is too high, and anyone who is like anyone who's associated with me basically is at the risk of getting harassed a lot. So I think like it's best if I stay away from things like the DIY directory, because although I support them and I want to see them succeed, my involvement publicly will hurt them. It will direct really bad actors towards them and they'll get harassed. And I don't want that to happen.
Oof. Keffals, a character analysis. I don't know if we'll go through all the shit on this part, but in the media, Sorrenti is widely regarded as an online trans activist hero, waging fierce wars against hateful adversaries across the battlefield of the internet. David Gilbert of Vice regards her as a transgender activist. Amar Khan of Global News remarks that Keffals is a proud trans woman who advocates for transgender rights and often covers issues in the news through a critical lens. Her existence has led to her being attacked online, with trolls mass reporting and getting her suspended from Twitch and Twitter for breaking down issues facing the trans community. Taylor Lorenz of the Washington Post remarks that Keffals has become known among her audience as the ratio queen. Article after article seems to shower Sorrenti with praise, and, in their mind, the only reason she ever seems to get any pushback online is due to her identity as a trans woman. Is this really a fair analysis of why she's so widely regarded with ill repute? Internet bullying. We could have fleshed this section out way more. I don't know like how much I need to like include on this, but this is just basically a list of like all the really weird kind of shady shit, hypocritical stuff. Like just Sorrenti is widely regarded online as an internet bully. Her behavior at times can be abusive, both publicly and privately, to the point where she almost comes across as sociopathic. I think this is them where they're making fun of Joshua looking weird or being fat or something. I don't remember. There's like a ton of clips of this stuff. Here's like the thing where she literally doxes his fucking mom. Joshua Moon's mother, Candace Lynn Potter, was fired from her job in 2018 for having an account on her son's hate forum, Kiwifarms, posting pictures of his mom and shit online. My threat, and then when somebody calls her out on it, I think this is Mr. Medicare, Quarantine Koof. My thread is full of photos of my entire family, and Joshua encouraged it. I posted one photo and did not ask people to harass them. I don't care about your crybaby bullshit. Everyone upset that I posted a photo of Joshua Moon's mother are being performative as hell. As a result of his forum targeting me, my mother has gotten doxxed, gotten threatening phone calls, letters sent to her house in my dead name, and emails harassing her for months. Keep crying. If you have an active Kiwifarms account, I will not only post your name publicly, but I will find out your employer and forward them to your post history, or forward them your post history. I have no tolerance for hate, and users of this site should feel more scared to get as bold as they do. This is a hate group. So I guess she's just threatening to dox every single person with a Kiwifarms account. She had a this is like a whole other thing. I found out who the Kiwifarms user was who doxed my mother and sent him a photo of him with his mother and addressed him by his name, and he deleted his account. Unlike him, I'm not posting it online, but if he comes back, I know where he works. I'm gonna forward his entire post history to his boss. So this was where after being exposed by the users on Telegram, Sorrenti deletes the tweet from her timeline and then claims the leaked logs are fake, despite Chloe later confirming in our private conversation that Keffals had actually spoken to this user on Discord. So this was the log dump of Keffals being like a sociopath, where so she thinks she's doxed this person, and then she's like threatening him with a bunch of personal information. She's acting like incredibly cringe and like anime fucking sociopath in these messages about like making fun of his, just all sorts of shit. Now, she would go on to say that like, why would you believe things from a Kiwifarms user? So she's saying that like the logs were faked. I'm assuming it's a Kiwifarms op. However, when Chloe was talking to me privately, are you including anything about the alleged leaked conversation between Keffals and the Kiwifarms user Winter? All I'll say is it was not a fail dox. Keffals got a couple things wrong, but it was basically 95% accurate. His name wasn't blank, it was blank, and he wasn't in blank, he lived in another town. So the conversation was real, it's not fake. Within the log dump, Keffals posts pictures of people he thinks is his mother, threatens to send information to his family, tries to blackmail him into deleting his Kiwifarms account, makes fun of him because she thinks he went to military school for selling drugs, makes fun of him for what she believes are the divorce of his parents, posts pictures of who she thought was his brother and pregnant girlfriend, just says he's acting like a retard, etc., etc., etc. She's told YouTuber Flamenco to kill himself on multiple occasions. She publicly faked DMs to tweet about the quartering. And then after the quartering response to that, she claims that she tried to get his sponsors dropped. This is her like on her stream, like faking DMs, and then she like tweets these out as pictures to her audience. Now maybe she'd say, well, it's obvious that I'm faking them, but nobody on Twitter knows. Sorrenti became abusive with someone in DMs because they unfollowed her on Twitter. This is like an unhinged convo that Sorrenti has with somebody who she gets really mad because they unfollow her on Twitter because this other person is just tired of all the bullshit. She tries to bully Jesse Single from reporting on Website Zero. She goes on an unhinged rant and calls Stardust a fucking bitch because Stardust was questioning her about false accusations related to flamenco. This is...
But I can't really comment on that. I do know that, I feel like it's kind of hypocritical to be blaming him for being part of a forum, right?
Oh, shut the fuck up, you stupid bitch. Really? Blaming him for being part of a thread that is engaged in so much harassment that my fucking mother's address was leaked and they went after my family. How fucking discourse brained are you that this is actually something that you would say? Holy.
So I'm not trying to get you mad or anything like that.
Okay, then actually be a fucking person.
Right. I've expressed to you that I don't approve of doxing and I don't.
He's in your chat.
Yes,
tell him you don't approve of him being in Kiwifarms.
He knows that I don't approve of doxing, but Kiwifarms is.
But you're like okay with it. So, but you're okay with people who engage in that in your community because he's there right now.
I mean, I don't think people in my community engage in that. Nobody in my community is doxing.
Is Flamenco not part of your community? Is he not in your chat, just like you said?
He's a much bigger. He has a much bigger community.
Did she call her a fucking cunt at the end of this? I don't remember or not.
I do. We had this platforming discussion 5 minutes ago.
We had the platforming discussion. He's in your fucking chat. You're not doing anything. You don't care. This is just content.
Unless you have screenshots. I'm willing to ban him if you have screenshots of him posting docs. But
he didn't post docs. He engaged in the fucking thread. He engaged in a group harassment campaign. How are you so fucking stupid that you can't see that this is the issue? The issue is that he engaged in a group.
So again, just because people hate on me, right? And then I can say the same thing about when people have been directed hate towards me. Just because they've engaged in it doesn't mean they're also responsible for every single thing that happens as a result of that hate.
He's part of the group that is responsible directly. He directly encouraged it. I've seen the shit he said about me. I've seen his fucking like cozy stream where he uses memes that use content from the fucking thread. How is he not culpable here?
What kind of content does he use from the thread?
Oh, shut the fuck up. You want me to like pull up the Nazi site and look over his memes?
I mean, I don't, the reason why I'm asking is because I don't know. I haven't paid attention to
You don't know.
I came here to talk about you and me, not about him.
This is why I'm mad. Because you have no morals, you have no principles. You're willing to just stand by people who engage in group harassment on a forum that multiple trans people have killed themselves over.
You coordinated group harassment of plenty of other people.
Group harassment?
Yes,
group harassment.
Have.
Do you have anyone who has to fucking lock their door at night because they're scared because they get fucking like hate mail directed to their house just because they're associated with me?
That's not right. I've said that that's not right.
But you won't do anything about the people in your community, who you interact with, who you call friends, because you're a fucking snake.
Okay, but I need screenshots of him actually posting docs.
All right, I'll get all of those. He didn't post the fucking docs. He engaged in group harassment.
If he encouraged
like, other people by engaging in group. Do you know what group harassment is? You have more than 2 fucking brain cells? Jesus, Stardust.
I know. I understand what group harassment is. I've had people on Cozy direct their entire followings to come hate raid me. So I understand what that is. But I still need to see like more than somebody just participating and being antagonistic towards somebody, right? Like,
in a fucking thread, in the same thread on a site made for group harassment that multiple people have killed themselves over. Are you fucking? How stupid are you? Like, how do you
made a spreadsheet of content creators who are all smaller than you that you wanted to?
Melina was on that spreadsheet.
Okay, but Gappy and I are smaller than you. And
I know yes, and Gappy and you both defended Destiny, who also engaged in my fucking Kiwifarms thread, and I have the screenshots for this.
That's, by the way, that is just a totally false claim. I don't even remember what she tried to fake on that. She tried to claim I was some other person, but that is just completely and totally not true.
Did he post docs of you?
No, he doesn't need to. It's a fucking group harassment thread.
Okay, but again, people...
I've already told you, stupid fucking
Keffals.
Jesus Christ.
You have slandered me as a white nationalist, as a white supremacist, as a neo-Nazi.
I literally do not give a single shit because you are...
You've done that to groups of people. I am such...
Because if you want to take responsibility...
That's one conversation. Here's another one where Hunter was going over a thread on stream, and I think he accidentally showed one of the posts that had one of her doxes in it. I think he did that. And he was obviously, he was apologetic, but she comes on to ream him over it, and no apology is enough.
Then criticize me for other issues as well.
Exactly. Because if you want to take responsibility for it, why are you not listening about the bigger picture surrounding how you fucked up?
Or wait, or maybe he just showed her thread. Maybe he didn't even show the post, actually. He just showed the thread, not the docs. I'm sorry.
Wait, the fuck up was the mistakenly showing the screen which had the docs on it. The fuck up was not me criticizing you prior.
Yes, that is part of it. Because
No,
you're
it's
going
not.
to make me look unsympathetic to your audience before doxing me.
First of all, you're doing a really good job of doing that yourself right now to my audience.
Oh my God,
Second
you
of all,
love flipping this shit. You
second of all,
manipulate.
I was literally calling
You're
you
a
out
fucking liar,
for your
dude.
dumbass
You're
tweet
a liar.
that was trying to say
You're
if you
a
criticize
liar.
me or
You have
make
never
fun of
told
the fact that I
truth
got
the entire
banned.
thing, and the only reason that you're apologizing is because you're like a fucking puppy that pissed on the carpet, and now you're giving me puppy eyes because you know you did something wrong. That's it.
Okay, I mean, yeah,
Okay?
you can think what you'd like
All
about
right,
me, that's
no,
fine. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's not really.
You're gonna keep like doing this like ooh-woo shit at me.
I'm not
Like,
doing any ooh-woo shit. I'm trying to stay calm. I'm trying to have a human face-to-face conversation with you.
Why is this person upset that I doxed them? Are they okay?
Are you?
Shut up.
You're acting
You're
like
a fucking
unhinged
liar.
right now.
I'm
You're
acting
acting unhinged right now.
because you
Yes,
doxed
I
me
came
on
on
your stream. You fucking cuck.
Okay, so
Jesus
can I ask you a
Christ.
question, please?
She's actually called for people on Twitter to get swatted before. Now, this was made in 2021. She would, in the future, claim, oh, I didn't know what swatting meant back then. But, baseless accusations. Sorrenti will make whatever random accusation pops into her head at the time, sometimes quickly walking it back, sometimes not. She claimed I was a rapist. She walked it back later. She claimed Dylan Burns, a progressive YouTuber and Twitch streamer, was transphobic because he kept hosting me on her shows. She claimed my wife was transphobic with no evidence, leading to a large amount of harassment from her community of bullies. She claimed Sansa was transphobic and that she was going to get him banned from Twitch. She accused Flamenco of taking part in doxing her mom just because Flamenco posted on Kiwifarms. She randomly accused Trevlogic of being a pedophile, but walked it back once chat corrected her. She did this thing where she'll be like, oh, that person is a pedophile. And she'll watch chat for a while. And then if somebody posts something like, oh, I don't think that's true, she'll be like, oh, maybe not. Canceling obsession. Sorrenti is never interested in engaging in honest dialogue or having critical conversations on the internet. Rather, her goal is to mobilize her community to spam report as many people as possible in an attempt to have them banned off of whatever platform they oppose her on. After the recording responded negatively to her fake DMs, she claimed to try to email his sponsors to get him dropped. I think he was transphobic against her, to be fair. I don't remember what it was. He made some anti-trans joke against her. But after some back and forth with Nick Rakita, she tried to get people to report him to the Minnesota bar. After mass reports on Twitter, his account was later suspended. I'm going to do this when I wake up. I would like to ask anyone who has the time to fill this in as well. He should not be in any position of authority while threatening to murder transgender people. She's getting support from that Alejandra Caraballo journalist, another insane journalist that uncritically amplifies and supports couples all the time. She called for spam reports on Mr. Medicare's account after he negatively covered her on YouTube. After mass reports on Twitter, his account was later suspended. She called for spam reports on my Twitter account several times. Every time I was critical of her, after mass reports on my Twitter account, my account was suspended. She supported mass reporting Nicholas Dario, I don't know if I pronounced his name, after he was critical on Twitter about her. Sorrenti puts together a banned streamer list on her stream so that she could auto-ban all followers of these streamers on her Twitch chat. This led to Gappy V, someone who was added to the list just for arguing with Sorrenti on Twitter, receiving harassment from Sorrenti's community in an attempt to get Twitch to drop his front page sponsor. This was an opportunity given to Gappy V to celebrate Indian diversity on Twitch during AAPI month. Gappy V asked her to drop him from the list, and instead she made fun of him, angrily yelling, "You're a fucking loser, you know that? I hope more people in your life tell you that." This was like the banned streamer list she made, where she was banning like every person who followed them from her chat. This is Gabby saying, putting in her chat, "Just stop putting me on lists and trying to bring me up. I've dealt with so much harassment because you bring me up. I want to move on, but you're bringing me up on this stream and I'm getting stuff."
Later today, I'll be banning all of your followers from being able to interact in my stream. I guess I'll return the favor since you've already banned me from your chat. Here you go. Just ban Gappy V. Just stop putting me on lists and trying to bring me up. No. You're a fucking cry bully. You're being a piece of shit right now. I'm not a politics streamer. I just suck up to people who make 41% jokes about trans people I don't like.
I've never made a 41% joke about her.
Shut up. You're a fucking loser. You know that? I hope more people in your life tell you that.
She encouraged people to vandalize my Wikipedia account. One of her moderators, Any43, attempted to do just that. So this is the person right now that's also a moderator in Vosh's chat, who is trying to get me spam reported and banned right now. Oh, so this was Sorrenti's tweet. I don't know if I can see this. Wow, very cool opinion, Stephen Bonnell, on a ban evasion account. I wonder what your Wikipedia article says about Kiwifarms. On July 18th, allegations against Bonnell were made by trans activist streamer Keffals, claiming he had weaponized his audience and users on the hate forum Kiwifarms to heap harassment towards her during a Twitch stream that resulted in her being temporarily banned from the platform for showing examples of this alleged abuse. So the reason why she was banned was because she probably featured me, and she had a bunch of like homophobic and other slurs in the whole thing of her intro. That's why she was banned. She literally quotes the wiki, quoting herself. True. Yep. And then this is the, there are a few things in life that actually trigger me. Vandalizing Wikipedia for political purposes is one of those things. This also happened when Hassan's community tried to get Gusano. They removed it that same day from the slur list because they're like, oh, it's not a slur, because they were asked mad about that debate.
It says here, Gusano, derogatory term first used by Fidel Castro towards Cuban counter-revolutionaries, okay? And I looked at this literally days ago, okay? Trust me, my word is my bond. I looked at this days ago, and it was there. Like, it links to it, and it was there. But it's gone. But it's gone now. It used to be there, right? It was there a few days ago. Oh my God, it was edited yesterday. Look! Planet Janet edited it yesterday. Oh my God, these fuckers are unbelievable.
But this is the Annie 43 person. I think she's a mod of Vosh. She's a friend of, co-founder of White4.st. Oh, she might work with White Nervosa on shit. But there's a, but you can go, oh, apparently someone said she deleted her Wikipedia account after this. But you can go through like the talk pages where she's trying to add this allegation of me. And there's a whole debate from her on trying to get this. There's like an edit war on my talk page on Wikipedia where like she's trying to get this edited into my Wikipedia article because she's so f***ing ass mad. I think, yeah. But any is they, them, whatever. They, them. These were the claims, these are the tweets she made about the Ukrainian servers posting do your own thing. They're just really weird. Dog/swat baiting. Despite being traumatized by her initial swatting, Sorrenti seems to be constantly tweeting and talking about her plans for travel. This is one of the most frustrating things is watching her, okay? Whoops. She constantly tweets about where she's going, where she is, and what she's doing. On August 14th, she needlessly posts images of her hotel room. Some she does again on August 21st. On August 18th, she taunts the people trying to dox her. On the 25th, she needlessly divulges an absurd amount of information about her travel plans. On August 26th, during her first stream in Northern Ireland, Sorrenti immediately revealed which country she moved to. On September 14th, she tweets about doing an IRL stream at a poutine truck that Kiwifarms had allegedly threatened to bomb. On September 14th, she showed a tweet about going to Spain on the 27th. On September 15th, her roommate Ellen asked for suggestions for future IRL stream locations in Ireland. On September 28th, she tweeted that she was at a theater in London the previous night seeing a play. So many times, she will just like bring up information. Remember the Kiwifarms threatened to bomb a poutine truck? Well, here I go. Last night I was in London. So many times she has brought up like, and there's more, there's like 20 more for this too. But again, I didn't want to make a list of like every fucking thing she's ever done on the internet. The whole CNN thing, like showing her like house and everything, like Jesus. But, okay. Sorrenti is an incredibly divisive figure online. While there are certainly malicious and transphobic actors that attack her due to her status as a trans woman, she is a uniquely vitriolic individual who has built her brand on bullying and harassment. Her entire claim to fame has been via coordinated harassment campaigns from her Twitch chat against individuals on Twitter and through the mass reporting of anyone who stands in her way until their accounts are banned. Many of the mainstream narratives surrounding Kiwifarms are completely incorrect. The media has been asleep at the wheel because they wanted a story where a website could be painted in an evil light, and Kiwifarms is, admittedly, an easy target to bully. It is a forum filled with some of the most obsessively hateful people on the internet, but there is no definitive proof that any suicides can be primarily blamed on the website. No proof has been provided that the original swatting, nor the visitor that showed up in Northern Ireland was from Kiwifarms. Despite this, Cloudflare found it necessary to drop Kiwifarms from its service, leaving the entire internet wondering who's next. Sorrenti has also abused her figure as a representative of the online community and stolen over $100,000 in donations on GoFundMe. She did not need money to repurchase supplies. She has no intention of suing the London, Ontario police force, and she seems to spend a good chunk of change vacationing around Europe. Her move to Europe was entirely unnecessary, especially when you consider that doxing is done by internet people on an internet forum. Moving to another country does not make you any harder to dox, especially when you move in with somebody who's already been doxed. I just say that, geez. On the contrary, she moved into an already doxed friend's house and immediately announced the country she was in, allowing her to get doxed again almost immediately. The DIY HRT directory is also an incredibly sketchy wiki. While it's nice that Sorrenti has distanced herself from it now, it seems to have only happened due to the heightened scrutiny she attempted to suppress by reaching out to me in a private conversation, imploring me to stop with my investigation. Chloe has made far too many questionable statements about minors to be at all associated with a wiki like this, and any websites that links you to guides for literally creating your own medical solutions demands an incredibly high level of transparency and scrutiny, both things that Sorrenti and Chloe have desperately tried to avoid. It would be my hope after this document that 1, journalists stop treating Sorrenti with kids' gloves and do their homework when researching her. 2, that Cloudflare releases a more concise statement for dropping Kiwifarms or else reinstates their service. 3, that GoFundMe releases a statement regarding Sorrenti's misrepresentation of her situation or else returns the funds to the original donors. There are many stories that we want to believe. There are many facts that we want to uncritically accept. I don't believe this is born out of maliciousness or even laziness. I believe this stems from a natural bias all people have that predisposes us to believe information that seems more correct because it coincides with the view we want to have of the world. It's our responsibility as rational, capable people to not fall prey to these biases. We can and should do better to evaluate stories presented to us in the future, especially the stories we want to believe. Okay. Jesus. I'm done. I'm free. I'm free of this nightmare. Hold on one second. So a couple of other announcements. So I think on the back of this, I think we've sent out 12 emails so far to different publications with information that we've uncovered to try to get them to either add more detail or completely rescind some of the obviously false or unsourced material that's been posted. I think my goal is to try to force either retractions or clarifications on a lot of websites that just make statements that just have absolutely no source whatsoever, especially relating to the Kiwifarm stuff, because a lot of stuff that's posted just has no source, or its sources it's like a daisy chain of like random media things. That's one. Number 2, I've retained the services of a lawyer in Ontario, Canada. I've already paid the retainer, and as soon as they can figure out how to deliver service, I am sending a cease and desist and a request for a retraction of statements that I believe that Sorrenti has knowingly made about me that are false. If she refuses, then I guess we go to the next step of that. That's the second thing. Thirdly, this has been like the past 2 years. The reason why I've been streaming so shortly and ending and stopping and being tired and all this shit is because we've been staying up late. I've read so much. There's so much that's not included in this doc. I got a lot of claims that were unverified. Some of these I will never share because they weren't verified enough, although they look sketchy. One interesting claim was there was a document that was supposedly being sent around to websites in order to get them to drop Kiwifarms from their services. One of the people that was involved in making and sending these documents defected and showed me the document that they were sending around. And interestingly enough, one of the claims on this document was for child porn, but the person that contacted me said that they knew that that claim was not true. Apparently it was like a video of some video that Mr. Medicare did of somebody in a bathtub or something. I clicked through it and I watched it. It was some dumb shit. But she said that, now this is kind of unconfirmed, I couldn't 100% confirm this, but she said that sending child porn allegations about Cloudflare, or to Cloudflare or to other providers about Kiwifarms is an easy way to get them dropped because people aren't usually going to verify that it's child porn, that people are going to click through and check it. Now, I don't know 100% if that's true or not. I wasn't able to 100% verify it, but I mean, they sent me like the huge PDF that was being sent around to people. I see from their Twitter that they were previously involved in all of this. What else? Jesus, there's so much random shit that I wish I didn't know, that I don't care about. Yeah. Yeah, I guess, is there any questions? Any final questions? Do you have any safeguards from your texting YouTube? I thought a lot about this. The advice that I got in my personal life was like 50-50. Half the people said that I should just accept the peace offers from Keffals and leave it alone and never talk about it again. The other half said that there was some strong material in here and it should probably be pushed publicly. I thought about it, and like I feel like some of the sections in here kind of needed to be saying. I really don't like that Keffals has essentially lied, and the entire kind of media has been dragged along in this insanely epic lie about her entire story. It's very frustrating. I will personally shout out for people that helped me. There was Can't Close Vim, Cyber Vegan, Dox, DOXX, no relation to actual doxing, Pretty Tony, Punished Furry, RTBA LOL, and TC Brady and Wind. And then also, aside from those main people, there were a couple other people that I fished opinions out of. Rose Wrist reviewed this and offered a ton of suggestions. Wicked Supreme went through this. A couple normie friends went through this. A couple other people that I don't think want to be named went through this. Yeah. Are you in contact with any news agency to report the story? So, I thought about this a lot. Glenn Greenwald actually reached out and offered to co-publish this. And I thought about throwing this onto his Substack. It was a really hard decision because obviously I would get way more eyes on it, but I was worried about being roped into anything else that he's involved with. So I don't know if I wanted to go that road. I don't know if it was worth it. That's like a kind of a deal with the devil kind of thing. I appreciate him reaching out, but yeah, I don't know. I finally opted against that, but why try to get Kiwifarms back on Cloudflare? If someone's doing it moral shit, should they really be provided with a platform? Is it freedom of speech? So here's the issue. To be clear again, no one's going to believe what I say. I don't like Kiwifarms, okay? Kiwifarms. But here's the issue. Kiwifarms got dropped for two big reasons that I could see. One is that two threats were posted on the site. One where the person said they were going to go bomb her house, and some other weird one. Both of these threats were posted by sketchy users. Both of them were decried by the website, and both were removed within 15 minutes. If that's enough to get you dropped from Cloudflare, that's insane. Does that mean that somebody could come fed post in my chat? If somebody in my chat says, I'm gonna go kill Keffals, and then it's like, oh, boom, you're delisted. Like, I use Cloudflare. Cloudflare is a service that I use. Could my website get dropped for that if I ban that person immediately? If I delist them immediately? Am I gonna get, that's insane. There needs to be a higher bar of proof to get delisted from that site. Yeah, but Cloudflare never made a good statement relating to why they dropped Kiwifarms. I mean, they were notorious for harassment before. You say that, but I think a lot of the I think that what happens is, so here's kind of what happens. Kiwifarms is the most visible site on the internet that does harassment, but there's a lot of other things that exist in the background that are arguably responsible for more. And none of those websites are ever brought up because there's no glory in chasing those websites. People want to slay the dragon. They want to get Kiwifarms. But Kiwifarms basically ends up taking the fall or getting the blame for literally fucking everything, even though a lot of the stuff like the Uber Eats hacks, like the swattings and the doxings, like there was that one swatting that didn't even happen. The person emailed me and told me that they called the police. I just don't think it's right that like Kiwifarms is getting like the blame for every single bad site on the internet. Now, if you want to see that Kiwifarms should get nuked off the internet for doxing, fine, but like it has to be for doxing. Like it can't be made up other shit. You can't attribute, and like the problem that I have too is that Sorrenti obviously knows in the background that this other site exists because she's trying to get other people not to talk about it, and then she's constantly and consistently blaming Kiwifarms for stuff that the other website is doing. But yeah. For future people that reach out to you directly that might now be concerned about future leaks, is there any particular reason you leaked the Bob posting messages? Because I think that her and Keffals are fucking sketchy as fuck, and fuck both of them. So what do we learn about the DIY HRT site? Keffals lying isn't a new phenomenon. Chloe was open about homebrew as was on the site itself. That whole section felt like a shot with no chaser. Well, Chloe says that she's never plugged anything related to homebrew. She's spamming it at me right now in DMs that she's never had anything to do with homebrew. And I think that Keffals and all of them like running away from that site so hardcore, I think kind of shows that they know that there's like a lot of sketchy shit involved with it. I didn't know everything about how crazy it was that you could get so much stuff delisted on archive.org. They were starting to request stuff being pulled down. They were blacklisting stuff from the site. They did it with the Internet Archive. Did you record your private convo with Keffals? Yeah, I posted the logs of it. Oh, what is this? Clarify that the DIY HRT has not publicly announced any change of ownership. Okay, RTBA really wants me to say that. Why did you change your stance about creating the manifesto? Because once we started digging into stuff and I saw that, like, when I saw how insane all the lies were surrounding this, it like kind of drove me crazy. Like the three suicides were insane. That Chloe person, Chloe Segal, literally kills herself as a political statement about homelessness and mental illness, and it gets hijacked as an anti-Kiwifarms initiative. That's fucked up. One. The Julie Terryberry girl, her life was fucked, and she probably killed herself because her boyfriend / girlfriend Mike broke up with her. That's like most obviously what happened. The idea that those two suicides get pinned on Kiwifarms is insane. The Near one could theoretically, I could buy that one, but there's no proof that Near is actually dead. I was really close to posting proof that Near was still alive, but I would have to confirm a Twitch account that I think or thought might have been his, but I don't have that proof on hand. It just looks kind of likely, but that's all we got. Yeah. Is the lawyer retained Nick Rakita by any chance? No. I went to a big boy law firm for that one. Is this the end of the Keffals saga? So I'm probably going to allow you guys to post on the subreddit for there's probably a oh, that any person is stupid as fuck. Has literal brain rot. What was I gonna say? Oh, I'll let you guys post for this for probably 24 hours, and then after that, I'm gonna cut off all. I'm gonna cut off everything about Keffals, and nothing's gonna be posted or mentioned on any of my shit ever again. If you've watched her behavior over the past month, you can see her kind of squirming. She's just kind of like trying to start fights with people. She doesn't really have anything that she can do. Like it's yeah. Yeah. Everyone's mad as fuck about the Peterson lie. Yeah, I had to make some event to get people around, but I had to do a bait and switch because the problem is if I announce anything in advance, Keffals does this really weird shit where she tries to get me banned from everything. She spam reports all my accounts and she continually like discredits me, and they're like pulling information and everything offline. So it's like very like weird. But yeah, that was a like big bait. Oof, but I think, please make sure you leave link to the manifesto over a 24-hour period. Oh, I think I actually made a Substack. I'll probably just post it on there, since I think it's probably better to have a Substack than like a Google Doc, yeah. What do you think is going to be the result from this? I don't know. I'll see how my cease and desist goes. I'll see how the... like I said, we emailed, I think we've emailed like 13 publications so far to see who will do any retractions on anything. We'll see how that goes. Yeah. But I think that's it for now. But, okay. Am I good? My life has been fucked over the past 2 weeks. I've been eating like shit, sleeping like shit. I haven't gone to the gym. Everything has been revolving around this dumb shit. Is there anything else? Any other questions before I close the book on this? Is there a list of publications and original articles? Can we track it? I don't know if we'll make that list public or not. I'm not sure, but... Do you think she'll push back on this? Yeah, she'll probably try to do some kind of struggle, but her docs and her like the documents she does in her Google Drive, it's all really shit. She's really bad at, but I keep saying that. I say that sometimes when I feel like, oh, they're really bad at like doing manifestos, or they're really bad at it. But the problem isn't that they're bad at it. The thing is that they're lying about so much. So I don't know, like, I don't know what they could possibly do because, yeah. What are we supposed to do? Any specific call to action or just absorb the information? Oh, If you see something, say something. If you see people online that are uncritically repeating, Kiwifarms caused 3 suicides, say, oh, really? How do you know that? Push back against that. If you see people saying like, oh, Destiny made 41% jokes, well, if you see people saying that, push back against that. It's not true. I don't make those types of jokes. If you see people lying about shit, yeah, I mean, if you've got, now I'll release this doc. Like I said, I'll publish this Substack in probably an hour or two. You have all the information. You can go out and do it from there. Yeah. But any opinion on Brazil's election? Good one. Yeah, Jesus. All right, well, I think we're good for now. I love you guys. It's been fun. Yeah. Reverendo, cappuccino, pappuccino, hoppuccino, moppuccino, dappuccino, cappuccino, appuccino, alpuccino, my deuterinos. Destiny, what was the point of the Brazil pharmacy you brought up with the DIY HRT? That Brazil pharmacy is the Otokono Pharma thing, where people can buy like hormones and shit from. It's registered in Brazil, but it's not registered properly, or it's not registered as a medical or whatever company. But that, yeah. Why do you think this would be career ending? Because I always get worried when I deal with people like Keffals. It's really bizarre, but like I don't think I've done anything even remotely wrong that like I should get in trouble for. Like I'm so careful when it comes to pronouns and everything, but like yeah, who knows? You never know. Okay, well, I love you guys. Sorry for the late ruse, but hopefully you see it was necessary. I'll be back tomorrow, and we will do normal stream stuff, I think. Jesus Christ. Just as a final friendly reminder, if anybody posts any docs, anything transphobic, everything is getting banned. I was able to reveal, we unveiled that like Keffals does have, she is a ban evader on Twitter. We thought about going back and forth and like doing like big calls to like spam report her Twitter, but I don't think it's worth it. So I'm not gonna link any of that. I guess I don't really. If she wants to say shit on Twitter, we're free speech absolutists here, so fuck it. Oh, if you're worried about your internet information being tracked by sketchy websites that you visit on the internet, check out surfshark.deal/destiny. Surfshark.deal/destiny, 83% off, 3 months free. Check it out. Oh, and also, I have a friend on Twitter. He posts cool things sometimes. Follow that friend on Twitter. There you go. Boom, boom, boom. Knock yourself out.